Normally, my scheduled stream time is 3 p.m., but I left my mask here, so I couldn't run the couple of errands that I wanted to run. And then I would have started about 3, but instead I'm starting early. Um, I mean, I don't know what to do other than game analysis since you guys, I mean, you won't stop posting games in Discord, so I guess you want me to analyze them. There's probably about 100 there now, so I do them in order, but I mean, you have to wait like a week if from when you post it, I guess. All right, well, I guess people like the mild teasing that I give people. If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch live at twitch.tv/GMBenjaminFeingold. Uh, let's see. If for some reason I can never get my stream to work, it just refreshes and refreshes. There we go. Very suspicious. I guess that's what's important, that it's suspicious. Yeah, my fan's noisy. I'll move the microphone over here and move the computer back a little. That'll make it quieter. Something. Yeah. I mean, I need a new laptop because we took this in about 6 months ago, and the fix that they wanted for it was like expensive. But it works. Hello. All right, 2 viewers. The refresh worked. Yeah, so this is the one stream a week I do that starts pretty early. Although I think the last few weeks I haven't been starting it too early because I'm usually asleep. But I actually took my nap very early today. So, hello. That's right. Okay, so, I mean, since this is my earliest stream, and since Pietro's game is first in line, this is his best chance to watch because, he's in Italy, so it's not midnight. Alt F4 Pro subscribed. Hello. Yay. Yeah, and so forth. Well, some of the U.S. people, if you can call them that, are streaming the U.S. Women's Championship, I guess, like Hess. I'm not sure why anybody else is streaming. It is pretty early. You made me subscribed. You made me. Yeah. So forth. Yeah, but I don't play terrible chess anymore. I just analyze terrible chess. Hooray. Eggs and bacon. I hope they're vegan. Yeah, I'll be doing some current events on the U.S. Championship when it starts. Probably like on the 27th, 26th. Something like that. I'll probably make a video every day. Although I'm going to be gone for 2 days next week. But, what are you going to do? Yeah. Are there any famous Finnish chess players? Well, that depends on your definition of famous. There's Heikki Westerinen, and I think the guy whose name I can't pronounce his name is Yrolja, something like that. I think he's Finnish. Heikki Westerinen has to be the most famous Finnish player ever because he's been a grandmaster for 50 years. He's not 2,600 FIDE. He's not 2,500 FIDE. Well, he used to be. And now he's probably in his late 70s if I was a betting man. Pinback 99. Let's see. Yeah, my mom's getting better. Yeah. Hello from Italy. Well, hopefully Pietro can watch this. Now, some of you noticed that I deleted the video yesterday. It was a little too toxic, so I would probably have gotten in trouble. I can't really afford to get in trouble anymore. So if I think the video's too toxic, that's when you know. So I delete some of those, but it doesn't happen very often. So if your game was there, that's unfortunate. Yay, Italy is correct. Hello, you're in 2 countries? You're in Bosnia and Herzegovina? Wow. I'll have to introduce you to a friend of mine who's from Trinidad and Tobago. 100 centidues. Greetings from Poland. Yay. Yeah, it seems like if you post games in Discord now, probably going to be about a week because I think there's about 100 games that I haven't looked at yet. My drink is there. Favorite Yugoslav chess player? I don't think Yugoslavia is a country anymore. I don't know, Gligoric or Lubojevic. I played Gligoric once. Okay, let's look at Pietro's game during the train. That way the train can die for no reason. This game was played in a 10-minute tournament a few months ago that Carrie and I ran. Okay, we have Stonewall, which you guys seem to like for some reason. TBA listen here, subscribed. People like the Stonewall and the... Whoa, what did I do? I don't know what I did, but it was awesome. What? What's happening? Okay, you guys like the Stonewall, and you like the Collie, and you like the London, but I mean the Bishop on C1's not so good. Okay. Alright, so this is a good equal position. Knight BD2 is a clear mistake. White should play knight E5 here. The problem with knight BD2 is now black should definitely take on D4. And you want to take with this pawn, but you can't because your F pawn's hanging. Your F pawn's hanging because your bishop is blocked. So after this, you would have to take that way, which you don't want to do. Probably rather have your knight here now. Then the open C file gives black counterplay. Black can play knight here and bishop here, rook here, and the bishop is sort of trapped. Now, if white could take with this pawn without blundering this pawn, then when he plays knight E5, that's a better pawn structure for white because the pawn on E3 is sort of silly. Don't want that pawn there. Want that pawn here. Yay. Okay, so knight BD2 is inaccurate. Pietro didn't take advantage. Knight E5 is good. Rook C8 is good. Queen F3 is good. Now when the guy took back with the E pawn. So white just sort of has a free attack here. Okay, you played H6. That's very dangerous. You don't want to move pawns in front of your king because then when you get attacked more quickly. So probably knight E7, knight G6 is the right plan. You could also play G6 and block the bishop. And it's hard to attack the pawn on G6 with something else, but it's still pretty dangerous. So H6 I don't like. G4 I like. Knight E4 just loses a pawn. So white's up a pawn. Okay, so white's winning, white's up a pawn. I guess Pietro sacrificed a pawn because he thought he was going to get totally crushed. I can't disagree with him. He played F5. I mean, probably you should take, but he played bishop D3, which is also good. Takes, F takes G4. F takes G4 looks really terrible because, you're opening up this diagonal. So probably just bishop E7 would be better. I'm confused. Black won this game, but I don't know how because black's completely lost. G1's good. Okay, so black's completely lost, obviously. Black is down a pawn, and the bishop is hanging, and queen here is coming, and bishop takes H6 is coming, and the engine says white's +5. So he sacrificed a piece. And in this position, he blundered. So black has some counterplay against the white king, and the way the game went, the counterplay just won. This is a problem that a lot of you have, and we discuss it on a lot of streams, usually in different... it looks like the train's going to die. Unless somebody gives 3 subs right away. Seems unlikely. 28%, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, well, that's what happens to the hype train. You guys have trouble switching gears. So the whole game, White's been trying to checkmate Black. And White was being pretty successful, I must say. And Black didn't want to get checkmated. So Black sacrificed a piece in very suspicious fashion. And now Black's down a piece for no pawns. And the only problem that White has is White's king obviously doesn't have a lot around it. So White has to switch gears now and say, my attack was successful, not because I checkmated my opponent, but because I won a piece. I won a piece. So the obvious move to win quickly is queen to d4. Obviously, if the queens get traded, Black's down a piece. Black has no attack. The top 3 engine moves all trade queens. Now, if I was Black, I would never trade queens here. I would probably play queen e7. The problem is Black has nothing. There's no queen here check because of this bishop. There's no queen here check ever. There's no queen here check ever. There's no queen here check ever. So you can't, the king is just safe on g1. And then White could try to mate Black, or White could just develop and be up a piece. So after queen d4, Pietro probably would have lost. But his opponent played king g2, and now White is better, but not winning anymore. Rook f8. Rook f8 is actually a mistake. What he should have done is played bishop c6 check. And the idea is if bishop e4, we can pin the bishop, and you can't really defend it. So then Black's getting this nice attack. White's up a piece. The engine prefers White, but not like before, where it was a piece for nothing. Pietro played rook f8, giving his opponent another chance to play queen d4. And he took it. Check. And now White blundered. And this is actually, I mean, these players aren't very high rated compared to Carlsen. But this is the reason super grandmasters lose a lot, is their position's fine, and they make a move that's just a terrible blunder because they miss something. A lot of low-rated players, their games are lost because they're down 4 pieces. And they're like, yeah, I was down 4 pieces, so I lost. And a super grandmaster loses because the engine says his position is fine, and he made a move he thought was fine, but he missed something. And that's actually what happened here. So in this position, White is very safe if he plays king g1. If you don't believe me, you can ask Dustin Hoffman. Okay? Laurence Olivier passed away, so we can't ask him. So we can ask Dustin Hoffman. And it is safe. And that's it. There's White's up a piece. Okay. And White probably would have won the game since Black doesn't have any attack. But like the Jeffersons, White decided it was time to be moving on up to the king's side. And now he's losing. So he went from winning to losing in one move because he couldn't get his king safe. Black played the obvious rook f3 check. And even if White doesn't get mated, White's losing a piece. I'm going to take your queen, and then I'm going to take your bishop. So White was up a piece, then White's going to be down a pawn. Now, it's also possible that White's going to get checkmated because White's king isn't safe anymore. So this is actually a very strange move because rook f3 check is like the obvious move for Black, and then White doesn't really have a good square for his king. He's not going to walk into that. So now Pietro can trade queens and win the bishop, or he can try to mate the king. And he decided to mate the king, which the engine doesn't agree with, but his opponent did. After taking this and taking this, the engine says Black's winning the endgame. But he played h5, forcing the king up some more. And then he played queen f8, which is another mistake. Now, again, White's winning, but White blundered here because he didn't see Black's threats. The way for white to win, he has two winning moves. He can move his king back. And moving the king back does two things. It makes the king safer. But actually, black wants to play rook here check and then queen here check, which is what he did. So you have to move the king back to stop that. And because the bishop protects these two squares, and this bishop protects these two squares, and this pawn protects this square, black can't do anything. So king g4 and king h4 both win. But he played bishop g5, which makes a lot of sense. It gets the bishop out, defends. Unfortunately, it hangs checkmate. But it's if it didn't hang checkmate, then the bishop would be good on g5. So rook h3 check, block with the bishop, bishop e8 check. I think there's more than one checkmate here, but that's the quickest. That's a very nice retreat. And then if, king here, we have, queen f3 if we need. Thanks, retiree. King there. And let's see, what happens after king g4? Yeah, after king g4, we go check, and then we go check, and then we go mate. So he played the other king move, and then queen e7 check, and then mate. So white had a very nice attack, and for his attack, he won a piece. And then when he won a piece, he had to defend for a couple moves, but he didn't. So he got mated. And that happens. You have to readjust when you're playing. And if you need help on readjusting during the game, it's hard to go from one way of thinking to another, there's actually a video that came out a couple days ago that's really helpful. It's a video of Rudy Giuliani on a bed, and he'll show you how to readjust. Yeah, because sometimes your shirt needs tucking and untucking, and if you have to readjust during, then that's a good way of doing it. Yeah. Thanks, Sturdy Boots. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Self-adjust. I asked if you've ever done anything else living. Chess players did. I don't know. Chess. Yeah. Gotta do chess. Is this becoming toxic again? Not toxic enough. Yeah. All right. So that was good. Never do anything for a living but chess. Never. Okay, I was black. All right. This has a lot of stuff, so it's possible the PGN's not going to work, and then I'll try to fix it. I guess. No, it worked. Okay. So Maki is black. He's rated 1311, and white's rating is 1370. 900 plus 10. Is that 15 minute 900? 60? Yeah. So it's 15-minute, 10-second increment. This game was played about 9 days ago. Okay. And what just happened? Spencer Perrier subscribed. Hey, Spencer, I deleted yesterday's video, so you don't have to upload the Wednesday video, because I deleted it. Let's see. Karen's here and Spencer. Yay. You never got the notification? Let's see. I got the notification. Yeah. Let's see. Yes. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the video could have got me in trouble. So whenever the video is too toxic, I consider deleting it. And so I did. The Twitch didn't do it. I did it. Oh, yeah. You mean you got the notification? Yeah, I got the notification. Yeah. Wednesday's stream is gone forever. It will never be posted anywhere. So if you saw it, you have to feel lucky. Yeah. Not toxic. This one's not toxic enough. That's correct. Okay, so this game was posted by the guy who had the black pieces. He actually lost the game. And it's a 15-minute game. Okay, we have an English. Always retreat. So here we have a Sicilian in reversed. And black lost another tempo by going here and here. So this is a normal Sicilian where white's up 2 tempi because he's white instead of black, and then black lost a tempo. And the engine still says it's equal. So, yeah, I mean, this is like, bishop e2 and the Sicilian. Yeah, so you guys can't do this. Well, Spencer can, but most of you can't understand what I'm about to do now. Okay, Spencer can. So that's good enough. Okay, I've had this position a lot. Now imagine if black played e6, a6, and bishop d7, right? That's the game position with colors reversed. So I've played e5. E5 and g5 are the main moves. But if I could play here, here, and here, 3 moves in a row, that would be the game position that we had with colors reversed, which is this position. Yeah, so he played here, and here, and here, and the colors are reversed. So that seems like white should be pretty happy with that he's playing a Sicilian, and he's like two tempi ahead. Okay, 3 tempi ahead. All right, bishop g4 is legal. Yeah, I don't know why you guys do this. I guess because you want me to give you chess lessons. Yeah, like you don't intentionally develop your bishop then trade it for a knight. You would trade it for a knight because you're like mating your opponent and ruining their pawn structure and winning material. Not because like, hey, that's something to do. So bishop here is a little odd, but bishop takes just doesn't make any sense. All right, so white's much better now because white has all the white squares. And then he did it again. Right. So, I mean, this is just great for white. 2 center pawns to 1, the 2 bishops, the what else. And to prove my point, even though material's equal, the engine says white's up 1.4. Because white has 2 bishops for nothing. White has a threat. This bishop is the monster of all monsters. Terrible. I mean, this bishop's more of a monster than Trump. All right. I mean, not really. Okay, that seems to lose a pawn, but he didn't take it. And the engine doesn't give it. Oh, he did do it. Oh, because queen d5 is a fork. That's why. Okay, so the engine doesn't take the pawn because of queen d5. But here you could just castle, and you'd have a much better position with white. Okay, now position's equal because black's going to get his pawn back. Bishop c3 is good. Rook f1 is legal. The engine actually plays king e2, but rook f1's okay. These moves make sense. Every move makes sense. This move is very, very, very dangerous, opening up the files to your king. Very greedy. Recommended by Yasser. Okay, now white's doing well. The engine actually wants you to play this rook over, although you're black. Obviously, white didn't do that because white was afraid of this pawn. That's why he played the other rook. But this attack's pretty strong. That's a lot of attack. Okay, you can't get more white pieces in the attack. That's all of them. So white's better here, but he played this rook, which is not as good. Always play bishop f8. The engine actually wants to play bishop f6. Now here white has an amazing sacrifice, which he didn't play, which is rook takes g7, rook g1. And right now the engine says it's equal, but I think I'd rather have white. This is the main line. Somebody's got to play the main line. And somehow this is all zeros. Black's up a rook, but black can't move anything. So somehow it's all zeros. I don't know. Not sure why it's all zeros. But. All right. So he played d4 instead, which doesn't make any sense. Perrier Reb subscribed. Speaking of no sense. If I was white in this position and I could legally play d4 to d3, I would. d4 like blocks the bishop from the attack. So that move doesn't make any sense. Yay, Pietro. We just looked at your game like 10 minutes ago. I hope you were here. We really did. And there's other people here from Italy. So I assume you know each other. How could there be more than 2 people in Italy that don't know each other? You really weren't here? Damn. What did I say about your game? Let's see. Oh, yeah, you were getting crushed. And then you sacrificed a piece. And then your opponent didn't defend well and you mated him. Yeah. Yeah, when you checked your opponent on the diagonal, he should have blocked with his queen. Queen d4 twice. Yeah. Wow, only subscribers can post. Wow. Damn. Good job trying to learn. No, I mean, there's 100 games there. So you're going to wait over a week if we don't do something. I don't know what we have to do. We'll try something. You guys can complain. But I can't look at 100 games a day. Sorry. Okay, d4 is just a terrible move. I can't imagine, no matter what your rating is or chess understanding, how anybody could play d4. I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me? I mean, white knew what he was doing. White played rook g1 and bishop c3 and queen h5. And then he played d4, blocking his bishop? What? God damn. Sometimes it's messed up. Okay, queen f6. That's a very strange move. Okay, now here's how the game should have concluded, and I'm not kidding, because it really looks like I'm kidding. If 2 super GMs were playing, this is what would have happened. d5, queen c3, bishop a3, rook b2 check with perpetual. King c1. Okay, he could go here. Then, okay, we win our queen back. And this ending is a draw. It's not even clear who's better here. Like, I would think black's better, but the engine says it's equal. The problem is white can play rook a1, and to save this pawn, you have to walk into a skewer. So, yeah, then you have to take this. Yeah, I'd take black, although c4 this looks pretty annoying, actually. God, the engine says c5. Ugh. God. All right, so this is probably a draw, but I would take black. That should have happened. But okay. I mean, the guy's letting you play d5 for free. Like, he put his queen on f6. All right, rook g2, defending the pawn and doubling up on the bubble up. And he did double up. Rook takes rook is better than doubling up. Not sure why white wants to trade queens, but all right. So black's up a pawn. Didn't stop black from losing this endgame. Yeah, I mean, we have a passed h-pawn, so rook b5 to h5 is a little weird. But all right, c5 is a little weird. White's moving his king up. Yeah. And black's doing well. Oh, never play f6. I mean, f6 is the worst move in the game, and that's saying something. And black's up a pawn here, so h5 is a good move. King h7 is a good move. I'd probably play king h7. f6 just hangs the pawn. And then after taking the pawn, it's a draw or white's better. But white played here instead, trying to win this pawn, which is actually very funny. Black's up a pawn for nothing now, has 2 passes. a5, wow. Okay, so this is the part of the board that white's going to advance on and get a passed pawn. And this is the part where black is going to advance. So a5 doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, either move your passed pawns or move your king up. That's wow, a4. He's just letting white get all these free tempi. Damn. Now white's better because white's passed pawn is so far advanced. Now black's better because king here is a bad move. That's a good move. That's a good move. That's a good move. That's okay. And this is just a draw. Okay, now black made a very bad move. He either can take this pawn or he can check the king either away from the pawn or in front of the pawn. And instead he played here. I guess that's still a draw, but it's bad. Okay, now black has to play g5 and get his passed pawn going. And maybe he can draw. But he played here. I don't know why he did that. And then he played here. I mean, so the last two moves of the game, white played c4, c5, c6, c7, and black moved around in a circle doing nothing. I mean, black got his pawn from here to here. That didn't help. This pawn never moved. This pawn got captured. Wow. This rook went here, 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 here. And then he checked the white king to a better square. Damn. Harsh. These are the kind of moves that I see all the time in scholastic events. Moves like rook c6 check. And then after here, the guy's like, darn. I mean, we see that all the time. So black resigned here. But I mean, black like couldn't possibly lose, and then he never pushed these pawns, and he pushed this pawn twice. What's that got to do with anything? Yeah. And this pawn's pretty far advanced, so, you know. I mean, this pawn, he could take this pawn with check. Jesus Christ. I didn't even notice he could take that pawn with check. I just assumed it was defended. All right, that's just completely winning. And then white defended it. Yeah, he could take this with check and then take that. It's the same position without white having a c pawn. So very poor endgame play by black. Losing the unlosable. But yeah, here, instead of going here, you could take this pawn or you could check on b3. And black can't lose that. Now black could lose, though they shouldn't. Now g5 and both sides have a passed pawn. But he didn't care about his passed pawn. Right. Probably black was in time trouble at the end. No. Black gave some analysis too. Like after here, instead of queening and winning the rook, we can just win the rook. That's good analysis. Yeah. And then get a queen for nothing. Yeah. So yeah, black actually probably has to take this pawn like now or the next move, which is obviously losing. All right, now let me tell you what that reminds me of. Unfortunately, I'm not kidding. Usually I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding here. Okay, so imagine this is the position. Oh, the board's backwards. Damn it. No, I'm the world's worst person. That's saying something. So like at a kids tournament, you see this position, and like, it's like this, and black's like, I wonder if I can queen. And then he does that, that. And then he's like, that didn't work. Yeah. So then he's like, all right, let's try again. And he plays here, and the same thing. And then he's like, that didn't work. Then the game's a draw. So like you try something and it doesn't work, then you're like, oh well. And that's not, not the way to play perfect chess. You should figure out if things are going to work before you do them. And so in that game reminded me of that. White just made moves that just didn't work. And then when they didn't work, he was like, darn. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Man, losing that ending was tough because he should have won that ending. And then some. All right, well, the truth hurts. Sometimes you lose. Two kings, what else? I'm going to have to log in as you. All right. Yeah. Why you stream so early? This is the time that I stream. I have a streaming schedule like a lot of other streamers. Maybe this is your first time on the internet. If you go to my streaming schedule, I stream today from 3 to 7. It's date night. And then afterwards, Karen and I have date night. Hooray for date night. Vocal HM subscribed. Thank you. Yeah, I always stream 3 to 7 on Thursdays. That's my schedule. It's been like that for 7 months. If you're in Europe, it's not early, although it should be. Yeah. Hooray for Ben is correct. I mean, everybody's streaming now. All the best streamers. Charlotte Chess Center, I Am Rosen, Chess Bra, Anna Cramling, Nicholas Stojan. Everybody's streaming. What are you talking about? Even streamers that aren't very good, like Gotham Chess and Hikaru, are streaming. So, I mean, everybody's streaming. Komsky's streaming. Damn. Who's not streaming? Yeah. Yay, you finished Futurama back to season 1. Good job, Kangaroo. The Global Baker. You're one of my biggest donors. Hooray, because you're global. That's right. Time zones do not exist in China, and probably other countries, but mainly China. Let's see. There is a bad hiss on the audio. No, it's a good hiss. No, that's just the fan. Yeah, the audio's great. You can't have better audio than we have. All right. Yeah, you had a winning endgame there, and then things turned around. That was unfortunate. Where did I go wrong? All black moves appear to be natural and intuitive. This was 10-0, thank you. Oh, you were white, and you want to know where your opponent went wrong. You were like, I crushed my opponent. Why didn't he play better? Yeah, it's true. This is from Lords of Acid. Now, that actually begs the question about how important it is to be intuitive and natural. So, obviously, if you're, Aretha Franklin, then you have to be natural. The Global Baker, it's a donation. Michael Bitten, $15. Can you review my game? The name is Bitten. $15 is pretty low, but it's higher than the other people. So, thanks for the donation. So, some positions, not many, have very few tactics, like this one. And so, when there's no tactics, there's no captures, there's no checks, there's no winning material, there's no checkmates. When that's not possible, then your comment about natural and intuitive and reasonable and all that makes sense. However, that doesn't matter when there's tactics. If you make a logical, normal kind of move and your opponent takes your queen, then that didn't matter, right? So what matters is you never lose any material, you never get checkmated, and you take all material, and you checkmate. That's what matters. And when those things aren't possible, then, playing in the center and, castling and getting a piece, then that's important. So we're talking about a Danish gambit here, and you guys are in the 1200s, and you're like, I don't understand why my opponent lost. He seemed like he played okay. Well, he probably made some tactical errors that lost all his pieces. Okay, so we got the Danish. So black has to be very careful. Also, black has to be very quiet because we're hunting wabbits. No, really. Yeah, it's wabbit season. Now, if you don't like rabbit, you could listen to Eddie Rabbit, which you also won't like. Then, if you don't like that, and you don't like chess, then you could like cheese, and then you could have rarebit. The end. Let's see. It's funny, the reason Petrosian was looking down, he wasn't looking at an engine, it turns out. I just found out that he was just making sure that Giuliani wasn't there. I mean, that's reasonable. Like, okay, good. Then he would continue. Yeah. So that's a reasonable thing. So I was told that I can say this, and you guys are going to ask me questions. I'm not going to answer them because those questions I can't answer. Karen and I have signed an NDA to understand the inner workings of chess.com and how how they do stuff, and we're going to have a meeting tomorrow about it so that we see what's happening. And then I don't know if they want our opinion or if they want help, or they're just saying, look, we're high five, which is what I think they're doing. So I can't talk about anything ever, but then my opinion on the matters is that everybody's a cheater and everybody should be banned. And normally what happens on the internet, which I don't agree with, and I agree with everything on the internet except this. Occasionally, chess.com does something where they feel somebody has violated fair play, which in English means that they cheated. And then when they do that, the gawking rabble on the internet are furious. And the reason they're furious is they think they have the right. I roll my eyes more, but like my head hurts from rolling my eyes so much. That chess.com explains everything to them so that they can agree or not agree. Okay. That's why people feel that way. People are dumb. So, obviously, it would be idiotic for chess.com to say, we've banned this player, and here's why. This. So if you want to go cheat, don't do that, do something else. That's just dumb. So obviously they're not going to tell you why. But I know from experience and from the people involved and from general sense, common sense, that chess.com isn't going out of their way to ban grandmasters and IMs. Probably it's the opposite. So when they do ban those people are guilty. God damn. Okay. Anyway, you're guilty anyway. I have the opposite opinion. I think everybody's guilty, everybody's cheating, and then they don't ban enough people. That's my opinion. Anyway, we're going to get some of the inner workings, and then we'll know more about it, and I'll be even happier with the situation, I hope. But basically, people who would never, ever, 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 ever cheat, which is, I think, just me and Karen. I don't think there's anybody else on earth. They want us to be in on, what's happening and, understand the process. And then maybe one of us will opine like, oh, I don't like that. You shouldn't be banning those people. But it'll probably be the opposite. Like, you got to ban more people. So that'll be interesting that we're going to have some involvement in understanding what's actually going on. But I'll never, ever, ever, ever talk about it with you guys. And if I did, I would be banned and my children's children would be banned. What's Spencer going to do then? So that's not going to happen. So I'm never going to talk about what we talk about in the meetings, but it'll be interesting to find out, the banning situation. So I'll be more in the loop. And then we're going to discuss me making some more videos for chess.com because, we don't do enough here. We don't have 2 YouTube channels and 2 Twitch channels and run a chess center. And I have 2 kids and Karen has 2 kids. And our parents are ill. We don't have enough with that. So we're going to make some more videos for chess.com. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's right. Joe is correct. That's always been my opinion. If they ban everybody, then nobody will cheat. Just that they banned everyone. Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Yeah. Let's see, Safari. I have questions. Duck. It could be duck season. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think chess.com banned Petrosian because he had the wrong pants on. All right. Now, in this position, grandmasters play two different moves, d5 or bishop b4 check. Okay, and I've played them both. This guy played knight f6, which is not considered the best move, but it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, e5 is an interesting move. White played knight to d2. Beam me up, Snotty. Thanks for the, whatever. Yeah. Okay. And then bishop b4 is okay. The engine says d5, d6, bishop b4. Okay, fine. Fine move. Knight f3 is okay. Okay. Now, here, black's move is okay. I'm not complaining. But it's very dangerous. So if you're an engine, the next move is probably okay, maybe. If you're not an engine, I would never play this move. So if I was black, the only moves I would consider are d5 and castles. I wouldn't even consider another move. Castles gets my king safe. d5 attacks the bishop on c8 can get out, etc. I don't know which move is better, but he played knight takes e4. So, I mean, I got 4 pieces out, and you got 2 pieces out, and one of them is almost attacked. And so that's a very dangerous move. It's possible the engine looks 25 moves ahead and says it's fine. But as a human, I wouldn't play that because I would be afraid of getting crushed. The engine castles and says white's better. You played queen b3, which was also a good move. Not as good. Now the engine says black has one move to give an advantage, queen e7, which defends the pawn, defends the bishop, and then does some of that. It says black's better. But you took this, or your opponent did. Take back. And now black made a bad move. Black should play knight c5, which I would never play. And it says it's equal. I would never play that. Black took, and now white should take this, check, and then take this. But he took this first. Now d5 is an excellent move, but it wasn't played. But you can see how it attacks the bishop. It stops this. It lets this bishop out. And if you take it, you're pitting yourself so black can win with either c6 or bishop e6 winning a piece. So that's why white should take on f7 first and then take on d2. And now after d5, black should be winning. But he played queen g5 check, which is okay. King d3. What? God damn. Okay, now black played a totally insane move that makes no sense and is ridiculous. So if I'm playing 1 minute or 5 minute and I'm moving quickly, I'm castling every single time. Castles. Black's up material and white's king is on d3. I might throw this check in, but I doubt it because the king's terrible here. King d3, wow. Your opponent played the insane queen takes g2. That has nothing to do with the position. The position is white's king is here and black is up a few pawns. So that just lets white attack black's king. That's a crazy move. Okay, this move is winning. Rook a e1 check. You played a move where you're better. That's good. King d8 is forced. Good. Rook hg1 is okay. It's not the best. It's okay. Queen f3 check is good. King d4? King d4? King d4? Where's Manmoth? Man. There's some alcohol in here. King d4? King d4? What? God damn. Wow. King D4. Wow. Okay, now, unfortunately, that move loses a queen. Fortunately, your opponent didn't win your queen. So your opponent can play knight c6 check. These moves are illegal. So you got to go to c4, c5. If you go to c4, this wins your queen. And c5 is probably worse. Every move wins. Okay. This wins the queen, because if king here, then here, it's probably there's mate. And king here, there's probably mate. It's announcing mate. All right. Yeah, the king d3, king d4 is crazy. Your opponent, when they played queen here check, they wanted to trade queens because you have an attack. Well, you did. And they're up some pawns. So instead of mating you or winning your queen, they were happy to trade queens. All right, now the engine says it's equal, which is funny. G6 looks really bad, opening this up. That looks really terrible. Check is bad, because when the king king d5, of course, then you're threatening this and this. King d5 is actually a mistake, and after knight e7 check, black is better, because after takes, the bishop is attacked. So in this position, white's winning with like king d3, but after king d5, white's actually losing again after knight e7 check. Your opponent played there, missing checkmate. All right. So both sides of that game made really tremendous blunders of material. You're moving your king up was bad because your king could get in trouble, and your opponent didn't punish you. So yeah, that was that game. I recommend less acid. That's what I recommend. Less. Yeah, that's my recommendation. Less acid. Yeah. All right, so that was something. Now, I want to read you the comments from the person who submitted the game. Where did black go wrong? 3 question marks. All black's moves appear to be natural and intuitive. Perhaps there's an anti-Danish repertoire Yi could recommend. I like Yi. That was good. And then he said 2 bishops, what else? That's right. Well, I mean, black was doing well until he, hung all his pieces and mate. God damn. Not approved by Man Moth. That's correct. Yeah. Recommending less acid, yeah. Wow, that was something. Wow. If only black had thrown in c6 check, king d6. That king would have been pretty good on d6. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Robots don't say ye. That is also correct. You got to watch it, Kangaroo. Spencer knows a lot of Futurama. I'm going to prove to you you're a human the way only a woman can. And then I think it was the professor. He says you're going to nag him or something, and then he gets slapped. I think it was the professor. I don't know. And then when she hugs him, and she's got her breast in his face, he's like beep 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 beep. So good episode. Yeah, Roberto's a great character. Go Roberto. You're my favorite. Not my favorite, but Roberto's right up there. Yeah. I've only seen it one time. That's right. More 83 is gifting a sub. More. Yay. Wow, I like that noise. Big money, make me stop. Yay. I knew I liked that noise. Micro tone music, $109.99. That's my new favorite donation. I'm not sure what he's thanking me for, but you're welcome. Yeah. Your book doesn't contain any counter to King D4. That's right. There is no more, and there never will be. More. I said this on stream before, but to my German, kangaroo and stuff, there's a German grandmaster named Stefan Mohr. Mohr. He's around my age. So my dad's name was Ronald. And like I'm Benjamin, so I'm Ben and he's Ron. And when my mom would give him something like food, mainly food, and asked if he wanted any more food. He insisted, I'm not sure if he was kidding, because I don't know. I'll never know if he was kidding, that my mom put a comma while she was talking between the word more and his name. So she would say, would you like any more comma Ron? Instead of would you like any moron? That's not a joke. That happened. Right? She would say, do you want any more comma Ron? Because otherwise she'd be calling him moron. There you go. One should not say without context. I mean, that's his name. I don't tell you. His name's Stefan Moore. That's, yeah. Etc. Yeah. Still never heard of him. No. That's right. It is the forgotten rule. All right. Well, that game was good. Slow chess draw. I was black. The endgame was complicated for me, and I was not cheating. This was a GM Ben Feingold chess club tournament. Both players 1600 ended in a draw. All right. You weren't cheating, but your name is trying to cheat. So I don't know, man. I don't know. So one thing that I'm going to learn tomorrow in the stuff that we're doing, probably, I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone to the meeting tomorrow. I don't have a time machine. Is probably I'm going to learn some names of people who are prominent who may not be honest, who may have gotten in trouble. But again, I can never. Now, obviously, if it's trying to cheat, then I'll have to. The NDA doesn't matter. Now, based on what just happened on 60 Minutes, I don't know if maybe Danny Wrench will be like, you can talk about whatever you want, because that's what the president's doing. I'm sure he signed an agreement, and then he immediately said, "Rawr, I'm mad." So I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I would never talk about anything I'm not supposed to, unless I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. So, in fact, before I said today that I'm doing this thing, I asked them, am I allowed to say that I'm doing it? Is it just the stuff we're talking about I can't talk about? Or I can't even talk about the fact that we're going to talk about it? And he said, no, you can talk about that we're talking about it, as long as you don't talk about it. And then I got Bender to come up, and he said, what? That's one of my favorite Futurama lines, is Bender saying what? It's when, Spencer knows the line better than I do. It's when B. Arthur says, do you know what it's like being a fembot living as a femputer in a manbot's world? I don't know. I don't know what she said, but when she was done, Bender said, what? So that's a great line. Yeah. That's right. Go B. Arthur. Fembot living in a manputer's world. Yeah, and then Bender said, what? That's a good line, Bender. Release the prisoners and bring gold, lots of gold. Why are you bringing gold? You heard the man. When B. Arthur says, you heard the man, that's a good line. Refuting the whole episode. That was good. You heard the man. Whoever wrote that show should get paid extra. Okay, so this game was played in one of our club tournaments. He says I wasn't cheating. All right. It looks like this was played August 15th. And the time control, it says, is 1/259,200. What? So, know what that means. Slow chess. I guess it's a daily game. Yeah. Well, standing up is difficult, so I wanted to be a sit-down comic, but I couldn't. They wouldn't give me the chair, so I decided I would do this, and Karen got me this gamer's chair, so then, so I do this. I think chess streamers make more money than stand-up comics. Probably that's the case. Okay, so trying to cheat's black. He's playing a Slav, trying to cheat. G6 is very unusual. Bishop probably doesn't belong on D3. So I puts a pawn here. Usually goes to E2. All right, that doesn't lose. Bishop e5 is a very strange move. I'm not saying I dislike it. It's just really strange. Usually don't want to give up your bishop because it's a bishop. In fact, the engine plays the opposite move. h3, never losing the bishop. So bishop can go to h2. All right, so that's a weird move. Bishop g4 is good. Bishop b5 is legal. It's weird to play bishop b5 then not take the knight, because otherwise you're just moving your bishop around. Not sure why you would want to do that. Maybe he likes running the bases? I don't know. Whoa! So to me, as a grandmaster, knight takes b5 makes less sense than the previous game where white moved his king up the board. Okay, because, and when I was a lower rated player, when I was 900, 1100, 1300, it would have been the opposite. I would have been like you guys. Like, yeah, walk that king up the board and sack a piece. Yeah. Knight takes b5 is crazy. A piece is worth 9 pawns, so after the trade, white's going to be 7 pawns down. Terrible. I mean, that just loses a piece for nothing. These passed pawns, it's shallow and pedantic. Now, just to show you that the engine agrees with me and not with you, because you guys are typing now, 2 pawns for piece, 2 passed pawns, white has a threat. I think he has good compensation. I showed this exact position to Kramnik, and he said, Ben, even with white, I think I'm worse here. That's how bad white's position is. Can you believe he said that? No, he wouldn't say that. The engine says black is +3, even though he's up a knight for 2 pawns. Because the pawns don't matter. I'm so mad. Yeah, except for one thing. Passed pawns, P-A-S-T, terrible. You fix Discord, I think? Is thinking your strong suit? Someone do what Trying to Learn said. We had a train, it died at level 1. The trains don't do very well. We have to wait another 5 minutes for a train, I think. All right, knight takes e5 is legal. Bishop takes rook is legal. Every move wins. Okay, you played one of them, good. Always play bishop f1. The engine wants to play knight e8 to d6. Makes sense, right? That would have been a good plan. Okay, he played it eventually. Good enough. e5 is an excellent move. Yeah, here you just take this. No reason not to take that. The e-pawn's pinned. It's just winning for black. All right, so he's doing some other stuff. That just hangs the b-pawn, so he took it. But now the b-pawn's pretty strong. So now black only has one move to have an advantage, and it's takes. That's the only move that gives black an advantage. After this, it says it's a draw. That's a blunder that loses. Now black's losing. You have to play queen b8 or here. And the reason is, if your queen is on b8 and your opponent somehow plays queen c7 or queen a7, you can defend your queen with bishop e5. So you take here, and your bishop goes to e5, and you blockade the pawn. In fact, the engine says taking is a win for black. Now black's actually lost. Okay, and white blundered here. So if white plays queen c7 here, he's winning. If I could cheat and go here, I win. Right? So the winning move is queen c5 with unstoppable queen c7. And then you win. Now, if the black queen was on b8 here, you could take on d4, and then black could play bishop e5 the next move defending his queen, but you can't do that now. So now white's winning. White plays queen c7 and queen's the pawn. Okay, white blundered here, didn't see the winning idea, and played queen here check. And then played here, threatening this. And this doesn't win for an amazing reason. Incredible. There's some perpetual checks, but he played here. So now if you trade, the bishop can stop the pawn, and if you don't, I can perpetual your king and block the pawn. This is actually a good move. And then king g7, bishop d6. Yeah. And the game's a draw again, although black's better. White's pawn structure is terrible. Ooh, that move I would assume is losing. It might not be losing. I just assume it's losing. This is really interesting position. Black played f6, which wins, but an easier win is g5. And then you walk up here. That's just easy win. There's like no analysis. All right. So he played f6, which also wins. Never play f6. And g5 is a blunder, which draws the game. I mean, black doesn't want all the pawns off the board because then he can't win. So black is winning with either king f7 or takes. I mean, takes is easier for me. And then you could play g5 again, stopping f4. And then you can come up here. So, and then, I don't know, here, king e6. And white has to let black take this. So, I have 3 moves, you have 2 moves, and it's your move. So this is, engine's already announcing mate for black. Here, and then white resigns. All right. So he played g5. Now it's a draw. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, now there's no pawns on the board. It's hard to win now. Yep. Now it's a draw. Let's see. h3. Every move draws. h3 is one of them. And they agreed to a draw. Yeah, this is just known. Yeah. And then king f1, king f2, Papa John's. So basically, the king opponent was winning. So queen e5 is a really bad move. And then here, black had to play g5 when it wasn't trading all the pawns off. So takes in g5 or g5 here. And they're both winning. The reason it's winning is if you get to some zugzwang position, I mean, black has a lot of moves and white doesn't. Black has 3 waiting moves and white has 1. And then once white moves his king, he loses this pawn. So very instructive, as Val Kilmer said. And then the move that doesn't win is g5. Now it's a draw, and the players played correctly, and they drew. Sign him with Discord, miss the move order, Perrier, go subs, log in again. By the way, since I've been doing this game analysis, we went from 1,400 people on my Discord, and now we have over 1,800. Go Discord. I don't know what Discord is, but I assume for a chess streamer, 1,800 is a lot of people on Discord. I assume. Trying to cheat, 245 centidues. What do Discord people say? You know, like Bartholomew and Rosen and Botez and Gotham Chess and Komsky. Well, I'm guessing Komsky doesn't have a Discord. Could be wrong. I figure 1,800 is pretty good. If I knew what Discord was, then it would be even better. Man, trying to learn, given those instructions. Man, look at trying to learn. Go Discord. Yeah. Better than $17.99, right? Also, another train. Let's go trains. Hooray. Now, according to the internet, Not saying it's true. It's probably made up. But I read a Dutch researcher hacked the president's Twitter by guessing his password, and he had no security on it. And he guessed MAGA 2020, and it logged him in as the president. So then supposedly this happened. I don't know if it happened. And then he contacted the CIA, the FBI, and said, hey, I just logged into the president's Twitter. There's no protection. You guys got to do something about that. And then they ignored him. So I don't know if any of that happened, but if it did, it's funny that you could log into the president's Twitter from another country and there's no like secondary authentication. Sounds like something Trump would do. Anyway, that's a good password. MAGA 2020. That's good. Exclam. Yeah. It was MAGA 2020. Exclam. Double exclam. Cy Bradbury, 100 centidues. I mean, that story sounds fake, but still, that's a good story. Sounds good. Yeah. Double exclam. Yeah. We have pi number of viewers. Pi. Yeah, huge or billions. That's right. Yeah, this chair is good. Yeah. He changed his password for MAGA 2016. It's true that it's a story. That's right. Even that's not even clear. Yeah. All right. I was not cheating. That is correct. You were not cheating. Yeah. Probably should cheat some more. Playing like that. All right. Valorous Unicorn. 2093 against 2121. Then there's all kinds of annotations in the game. This might not work because there's a lot of garbage in the game. There's a lot of garbage. Let's see if it works with the garbage. Yeah, it worked. All right. I don't know what color somebody had. Let's see. Well, we'll assume that the guy who submitted the game was white, because white won. I don't know. The players are both about 2,100 on Lee Chess. So I guess that's like 1,100 on chess.com. Right. Maybe it's 1,000. Maybe 1,100 was too generous. I don't know. Let's see. Go Nightbot. The Dutch guy cracked that too. That's right. For my luggage. I do remember that, Thaddeus. Yeah, that seemed unlikely. Yeah, Kearney's is right. Everybody go to Poland. All right. So this game was played, by these guys. Okay, got some weird transpositions here. Every opening is transposing into another one. And we have this boring position. Yeah, it seems like b5 is just a bad move. Yeah, because the knight's defending this pawn, but he just took the knight. So I guess b5 just seems like a blunder. And then, I wouldn't take that. I would try to trap the knight. I can't trap the knight, but I would try. Because then I can go here now. So. All right, so white has two bishops and an extra pawn. Sounds good. Yeah, white's just completely winning. Queen c7 question mark. I don't know. This is just black getting totally crushed the whole game. It basically just started from him playing b5, losing a pawn. Then he put up almost no resistance. A cute way to win would be to take this And then if rook takes, sacrifice your queen, and then push your pawns in. That would be a cute way to win. But all right. He played the non-cute way. Also winning. And black resigned. That was a funny game because, like, up until here, the game was boring. And then black blundered a pawn with b5. And then black made it really easy for white. Black gave white the 2 bishops. And then white has no passed pawns here. So he's like, have some passed pawns. And then he let white push his pawns with tempo. Like, every pawn he pushed, like, gained a tempo on black's pieces. That was weird. Like, every move, like, gained a tempo, and he, like, got 2 queens. I mean, that looked like a simul game where white was a good player and black wasn't. Where white just wins a pawn, gets 2 queens, and black does no counterplay. So that was a weird game. Because the game was so boring until here. Nobody traded anything. Nobody has the advantage. Nobody can do anything. And then b5 just blunders a pawn because the knight's defending the pawn and white took it. And then black's defense was incredibly bad. Like here, if black doesn't do anything, if black just defends his d pawn with like bishop c6 or queen b8 or something, knight e8, and then they play 1,000 moves, white doesn't have any passed pawns. White doesn't have the 2 bishops. Black has them also. So the game would just go on forever. And instead, black just made it really easy for white to win. I mean, every pawn move gained a tempo. $10. Is it true you consider people rated as non-humans? Well, first of all, you called them people. And how did you pick the number 1,600? Anyway, to answer your question, I'll need a further $10. And I'll need a certificate proving that you're at least 1,600. I can't be talking to non-humans. What's a good line against the Czech Benoni? All of them. Yeah. The answer is fries. That's right. Let's see. All right, trying to learn. Trying to learn. I have no idea what the answer to your questions are. I don't. I can't answer any of those questions. I don't know. I mean, when I set up Discord, it was before you were born. So I don't know. Oh, it's taken care of? Good, good. I couldn't answer any of your questions. So that's good. Let's see. Get a Whopper for 99 cents. If I give you 99 cents, can I not have a Whopper? Wouldn't that be great? All right, checking email, checking Twitter. That was a long time ago. I agree. There's a debate on tonight. I didn't know they played World Series Game 2 yesterday. I'm not really following the World Series. So, yeah. I don't know what's going on. Want to check the U.S. women's. Go Talia. Let's see, this is round 4. Talia won round 4. Yay, Talia. Crush beat Jennifer Yu. Carissa beat Annie Wong. Dorsa beat Diana. Ashritha beat Tatev. And so, wow, 6 decisive games. God damn. Round 5. Talia's losing. No, it's move 20. Why are you losing? Man, you're losing too. God damn. All right, and then let's see. Trying to learn's yelling at me. What am I supposed to do? Oh, boo. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I got these people lined up. Yeah. Let's see. What do you guys? Mods are getting some work done. Curb online cheating. I'll tell you tomorrow. All right. 100 Senzadu's. And he says, let's start a train. I concur. Yeah, when Bart said, I concur, I was thinking Bart Simpson doesn't know the word concur. That wouldn't really be in his lexicon. But somehow he said it, so I don't know. Are you saying boo or boo earns? Oh, you are saying boo earns. Trying to learn says, let's go. All right, we need one more 100 cent to do. I look younger. I am younger today than I was before. It's hard to explain. Anyway, very good game by White. 100 cent to do Cy Bradbury. Very good. All right. Anyway, that was a good game if the guy who was White submitted it. That was good. All right, now we got Ethan Owens. He's White, and it looks like it's a 10-minute game. 1,700 versus 1,670. All right, it's a noise that I like, but I'm busy, so I can't see it. Okay, now I'll be less busy. 400 centidues, trying to learn. Market Sands, 100 centidues. JL Sandon just earned a bits badge, or fries. JL Sandon giving that money. Trying to learn, sharing emotes. Is Spencer and Karen on tonight? No, Spencer has the day off on Monday and Thursday, so he's not here at the Chess Center. Tonight's date night for me and Karen, and we never go anywhere because of COVID, but we're going to go somewhere. Probably either Taqueria Tsunami or California Pizza Kitchen, which I thought of about 2 hours ago. So we might go to one of those places. We like to go to places where you can sit outside and get slightly less COVID. But on date night, COVID's 2 for 1, so that's good. We save some money. COVID. I don't have any Perrier. We ran out of Perrier like 3 days ago. We only had like 72 Perrier, so it only lasted like, 20 days. So, no, it's not free, the COVID. I think it's 2 for 1. Even better than free. COVID. More bits equals more Perriers. Then I'm thinking karaoke after we eat. I mean, I don't want to go to karaoke and die, but all right. Guess I sort of want to die. Yeah. No, I mean, karaoke for 20 minutes is okay, but usually you go for like 4 hours, then we're all going to die. So I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Yeah, now they say 15 minutes is too much, even cumulatively added up throughout the day. So, yeah. See, the reason you get COVID at karaoke is those are COVID people. The California Pizza Kitchen sitting outside, some of those people aren't COVID people, but karaoke, those are COVID people. Damn, they want to get COVID. They can't wait. Yeah, in fact, the one person wearing a mask at karaoke last time, on the mask it said COVID. That was the mask they got. Yeah. You tell me your wife 15 minutes is too much. Bam. But I'm pumped. Man, Joe the Legend tried to cheer 100 centidues, but it was too hard. So he couldn't quite do it. Damn. California Pizza Kitchen. Yay. What do you think, Karen? CPK or Taqueria Tsunami? Now, Joe the Legend, if you actually do want to cheer, you have to put the cheer in the 100 as one word, not as 2 words. Yeah. Taqueria? All right. I haven't been to Taqueria in a long time. Du bishops, what else? Thanks for the sub. Yay, we made it to level 2. A new record. Now, theoretically, Karen's going to come here and stream with me in an hour or 2, but in practice she won't, but theory she will. So go, Karen. We'll wait till the commercials are over to analyze the game. But also, don't forget the hype train. Make sure you gift 300-400 subs so people don't have to watch commercials. It's pandemonium. Cheer 100 from Joe the Legend. All right, now you're just trolling. Now your children's children are banned. No, I think he knows that. I think he's trolling. Yeah. EECCUC subscribed. Yay. What do you think of E6, B6 against E4? It's legal. If you like it, you like it. Pro Baddie, 500 centidues. Yay. Thanks, Pro Baddie. Getting close to level 3. Not too close. Now, who's going to play the troll? Who's going to play the troll? You're going to play the troll. Who else would play the... Oh, great. That's great. Perrier Rep gifted a sub. Now, let me ask a very serious question. In the episode in Sunny where they're trying to decide who owns the lottery ticket, who do you think owns that scratcher? Who should legally own that scratcher? What would you have ruled? 100 centidues, Mill 22N. Who owns that scratcher? Dorsa had a good game today. There's a lot of games today. They play 3 games a day. Nobody's going to say who owns that scratcher? Come on. What should the ruling have been? Market Sands 300 centidues. When the stream ended yesterday, I was having a discussion with Fen Beingold about what would happen if I spotted a queen to a 2200 rated chess.com person in 3 minute, and he thought I would virtually lose every game. Like he didn't say, but it sounded like he was thinking I'd get half out of 10. That's what it sounded like he was saying, maybe 1 out of 10. And I was saying I was a slight underdog, 4 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10. And he was like, that's crazy, you're crazy, everybody's crazy. So then we asked Eric Rosen, and he said, yeah, Ben's probably a slight underdog, I guess. He wasn't sure. But basically he said what I said. So Fen Beingold must be furious now. Teething Biscuit subscribed. It's my scratcher. Well, Market Sands 300 centidues. Pawn Lift gifted 4 subs. Yay, Pawn Lift. Good, good. Hooray. D just dropped it, so she still owns it. Butt scratcher! Butt scratcher! What's the 13th fork for? Go train, level 4. I've never seen level 4. Okay, if I look at the game, the train's going to end, but all right. Gotta look at the game eventually. Ethan submitted the game. All right, Bishop E5 check isn't really a move a Grandmaster would play. You could play G4, that's the Kara's attack. Bishop E2, the way Karpov played in the 70s. F4 is legal. Okay, that's not really a move, because the bishop just gets harassed and moves away. So this is just a sort of a normal Najdorf where white's playing sort of passively and white's lost a tempo. So that's good for black. Yay, G4. Never play F3. Yay, it's exciting. I would expect this would be the normal move. Then you could go here and here, or here and here, or here and here. This I would assume is weird, but let's see what the engine says. Yeah, the engine doesn't even give this move as one of the top 4 moves. It says B4 is the best. This is second best. This is third best. Yeah, knight E8 doesn't, that's not good square for the knight. Okay, A3 stopping B4, good. Don't forget the train, you guys are forgetting it. H4 is good. Yeah, because of knight E8, black's just much worse here. Okay, H5 is just a crazy move. I mean, you would take this and then play H5. Now white's pawn structure on the queen side's ruined. Yeah, okay, now black's better. Now this attack's not going to work, and we traded queens. And white has a terrible pawn structure here. King B2 just hangs a pawn, right? This pawn's attacked. So you have to play E5 and not lose a pawn. Knight D6, this pawn's attacked. Take the pawn. There's 2 guys here. There's this guy and this guy. Yeah, and black's just up a pawn and winning, a better pawn structure. All right, so that was weird. Black's still better here. I would definitely take it with the D pawn. Then my bishop on B7. That's a good bishop. This move doesn't make any sense. You're just killing your bishop. I mean, you have the chance to like get your bishop out. So this is just a no-brainer to take that way. What a great bishop. Damn. So this is a really bad strategical blunder. Don't forget the hype train. Go hype train. A3 was hanging. Oh, that's why he didn't play E5. I didn't even notice that was hanging because I didn't care about it. I cared about my center pawn. But you're right. Yeah. I mean, E5 is the best move. There's no question. But not taking this is weird. I don't know why black didn't take that. So white decided the A3 pawn was more important than the E4 pawn, which is just wrong. After E5, take the A3 pawn, king D2, the game goes on. White can attack on the king side. The bishop is blocked in by the D5 pawn. Not taking this is crazy. And then not taking with a D pawn is crazy. You got to take this way. Okay, so now we're back to about equal. Somehow. White's better because black bishop is so bad. Now black's better. Not sure why black's better, because the engine says so. I guess my bishop can get out now. See, with the rooks on the board, the bishop couldn't get out. But now with the rooks gone, I can go bishop here, bishop here, bishop here, and attack this. So, okay, black is better now, 2 bishops. Once this bishop gets here, black's going to be better. We can attack this, we can attack this, we can attack these. Okay. But white shouldn't be trading rooks, because that lets this bishop live again. I don't understand bishop here and then here. What? All right. Now it says it's equal. Equal seems about right. Now white's better. Whoa. King B6? What? That seems like a time trouble blunder. I mean, you don't want him to take this and this. So white's winning here with knight B5 and then play king B6. Then queen the A pawn. You see what I'm saying? No? Yeah. King B6? I was like, yeah, these moves are all right. Then king B6 and I almost had a heart attack. Probably from this drink, but you know. 100 centidues. Thanks, Mill. All right, so yeah, thanks, Mill, again. Mill 22N. Yeah, king b6 just hangs all of white's pawns. You really don't want to hang this past a pawn. So knight b5, king b6, Papa John's. I mean, king b6 is crazy. All right, and this is probably a draw, probably. That hangs a piece, so that's a bad move. Just king moves somewhere and it's a draw. King f5 and black's better. Black has the 2 bishops. Probably a draw, but black's better. This just hangs a piece. Check wins a piece. Attacks the king, attacks the bishop. King can't go to g7. So king takes, loses. Just hangs a piece. And then the game, oh, after king d5, I guess the guy resigned. I guess. All right, so that wasn't the best game. It was the second best game. That game had a lot of errors, but I guess a lot of games have a lot of errors. The only time I played a brilliant move on chess.com, both players are 1100. Let's see that brilliant move. Wait, did I look at this game already? I don't think so. Okay, and the guy with white. And time control was 900. That's 15 minutes? No. All right, time for brilliancies, etc. Manmoth, that was all right. 100 centidues. Yay. Thanks, Furry Hurricane. You've never got a brilliant move? All right. Well, white played a brilliant move this game. All right, so we have the O'Kelly variation. Bishop there doesn't make any sense because I play b5. So that's, I went back, all right. H6 doesn't make any sense. And g4 is a little weird, but all right. d4. Man, if my opponent played d4, I play knight g4 all day. You got to move your bishop. You can't give up your bishop. It's a bishop. I mean, here white has doubled pawns. I'm not sure why black's undoubling his pawns, but it's all right. b4 I like. d5 is an interesting move. Now black should throw in bishop c5 check, but he took. You don't want to take that. You don't want the e file open because your king is on e8. So you should just take this and then take this, and the king is really safe on e8. Now the king is not safe. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that because knight e4 is crushing. So you have to take the knight, and it's about equal. I guess black's better. Black has 2 bishops. Yeah, now white's doing great. That's a great move. Now black's in a lot of trouble. d6 is best. He played queen b6. Now white's just winning with tactics. d6 wins, but he didn't play it. And the reason it wins is if the knight moves to if the bishop goes to b7 attacking the knight, we just take the bishop and then we take the knight. If the knight moves to some random square, queen d5 attacks the rook and attacks the bishop. So I guess you could play knight c6, and then after here, I mean, your king is in trouble, your bishop's in trouble, your bishop's trapped. The bishop's trapped. It can't move anywhere. So, yeah, d6 is just winning. Yeah, wins a piece. Played a3. That's not as good. That was the greatest knight ever, and that bishop was trapped, and he traded it. White's still better. Here, black should play knight e3, forking the queen and the rook. He played here. That's a crazy sacrifice. I like it. That's a crazy move. I like it. Yeah, actually, castles is the best move. If king takes g4, white's better. Wow, castles was the best move. That was a good move. Bishop h5 is good. Okay, and black blunder. Black has to play rook a7 here, defending on the second rank and threatening the knight. Knight e3 is actually a mistake. Knight takes h6 is the best move, check, but he played queen f3. Now black should play bishop to d7, but play bishop to b7. And that didn't work. The problem with taking this is white has all of his pieces attacking here. White's just better here because the king is terrible, threatening knight h6 check. And instead, he played bishop b7. Knight takes h6 is the brilliant move, I assume. Bishop f7 check is a brilliant move. The question is, should he take it? The answer is no. King h8 is better. And white's winning, but this is bishop f7 check is completely winning because black's getting mated now. So, yeah, bishop f7 was really nice. It's tempting to play something like queen g3 check, which doesn't work. But bishop f7 works. And the engine says white's up like plus 20 here, but he just got mated. So he didn't defend very well when he was losing the black pieces. Yeah, so basically white got an attack that was winning. He totally messed it up and it was equal. Then white attacked again and black's like, I give up. You keep attacking me, stop it. And I'd like to point out to the gawking rabble, which is all of you, when one side is attacking and one side is defending, and you guys are playing, you guys don't defend well. God damn. And the reason is you guys almost never predict your opponent's good moves. This is a huge difference between a grandmaster and a class player, is the grandmaster spends a very high percentage of their time trying to find their opponent's best moves and trying to thwart them and figure out if they can defend against them. And you guys never do that. You guys are always looking at your own moves. You never see your opponent's threats. You're like, I don't know, my opponent has 20 legal moves. I don't have time for that. So you just don't do it. So when it's two players who are rated 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, and the engine says it's equal, and one guy's attacking and one guy's defending, the guy who's attacking always wins. The defending guy never defends against anything. And so there's a lot of times what happens is one of the guys breaks through and gets a winning position, and the engine says like +2, +2.5. Then the other guy just hangs mate. He's like, all right, never mind. Like, you're winning. I know you're winning. I'm not going to defend at all now. So as soon as somebody is attacking and they get a winning position where their opponent can defend properly and last 20 or 30 more moves, they don't. They just lose immediately, which is what happened this game. Yeah, you guys don't defend well, but you guys attack okay, because 95% of the tactics puzzles you do are you guys doing forced wins. If you guys have good defenses and find the right defense, you guys aren't doing those puzzles. You guys are just doing the ones where you have like mate and two, win a piece. So eventually you get pretty good at those. But I mean, if your opponent has a winning continuation that you yourself would play, if colors were reversed, you can't let your opponent do it. I assume in this position, if you were white and your opponent played here, I assume you would play there and mate him. I assume. But when you're black, you still go here and let the guy mate you. Ridiculous. King h7, there's no mate. There's no queen f5 check. And then when you play queen e4 check, instead of going here and getting mated, now you play king h8 and there's no checks anywhere. And black's up a piece. Black's threatening the rook. White's winning, but white has to continue playing well. This is the only move that's a huge, ridiculous plus, is rook f6. Other moves are a slight plus. That's a huge, ridiculous plus. So if you guys defended better, you'd get a lot of wins even when you were losing, because your opponents would fade and such. The best defense is large donations. Yeah, that's the best. Nick Nicorley subscribed. Good name, I think. And then that's the only thing that I missed. Yeah, playing lots of games is the most important when you have a low rating. If you're rated 2200, study could help. But if you're rated between like 100 and 1700 and you haven't played thousands of chess games, you better start playing thousands of chess games. $35.46. What? Analysis is great. Please keep the streams coming. Can you analyze my game? Abora on Discord. Yes, sir, sir. Does 35.46 mean he donated another currency and it translated to that? Or is he just being cute? Either way is good. 2,800. Oh, yeah, I'll be 2,800 like that, son. No, I'm not doing any of that. Okay, so let's see. I don't speak Bora Bora either. Donde está la Zapata? Let's see. Made a brilliant move. Go, brilliant move. Go, everybody. The sexiest checkmate you'll ever see. I gotta find a Bora. No. I'll never find it. That game that I couldn't find yesterday, I found it. The one where you guys put it at the end. I deleted it. But that was the important thing. Let's see. I don't speak Bora Bora either. If I look through every game, I'll find it. Wah, sigh. He must have just put it on. That's why I have to find it. New! There it is. Slow game, opponent much higher rated, randomly hung a piece. I barely won, barely a GM. Thank you. You're 1,000 and your opponent is 2050. That is high rated. Slow game. All right. The more you donate, the more you beat a 1,000-point higher rated player. Let's see. OBORR. 10,000, 20, 50. The more you donate, the more I analyze your game. It's Pam. Second to last. Oh, I found it. Okay. Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Ah, somebody already put that there. Donated rubles. All right. All right, so huge upset this game. Got a Petrov. Knight BD2 is very unusual. Normally they castle and play C4. Nothing wrong with Knight BD2. These moves are all fine. Like, it's interesting. White could try to win a pawn here, but the engine doesn't do it. Knight C6 takes. Oh, because this pawn is hanging on D4. That's a good reason not to do it. Okay. So instead he played Knight E5. That's legal. All these moves are legal. I have no complaint. Completely equal position. Ooh, I don't like that move. I don't like giving up this square. I don't like the knight on B3. Still equal. Queen H3 is good. Bishop B4. Oh, your opponent... Okay. So this is funny. Let me explain why this happened. In this pawn structure, where the E-pawns are gone, where you're not sure if it's an exchange French or a Petrov, because it's the same, it's very unusual that White's knight is on D3. So this is what I call, and I made this up, the chess 960 effect. And I fell victim to it before you guys were born. I was giving a simultaneous exhibition in suburban Detroit about 20 years ago, probably more than 20 years ago. And my opponent was a very unusual player. He played his own openings. So the first 5 moves of the game, he played C4, knight C3, E4, bishop D3, bishop B1. So obviously, when White's playing E4 or C4 or both, which he did, nobody's playing bishop D3 to B1 on the first 5 moves of the game. But he was a weirdo. Okay, he's like 1400. We play his own openings. Now, as a consequence, somewhere between moves 12 and 17, I just hung a piece because I was surprised his bishop was on B1. So somewhere here, I put something and he took it with his bishop on B1. And that's what happened in this game. Now in chess 960, the pieces are all messed up. So you got to be careful. You could go to some square that you can always go to, but not in 960 because the pieces are on weird squares. And I would say in this position, it's weird for the knight to be here. So that's why Black played bishop B4, because usually the knight's, that's not hanging, you know. Obviously the guy's 2,000, so that's ridiculous, but, you know. 2,000 players hang pieces. This is why I can spot them a queen. Still lose sometime. All right. Yeah. So forth. Okay, so that's why he hung a piece. And White's up a piece, but he's giving away 1,000 rating points, so looks like he's doing a good job. Now, obviously, White could just take on C7, although he could play Rook C8 and win this pawn, so probably better what he did. Yeah, I mean, White's doing a great job of winning. Oh, no, I didn't. Got a subscription. I don't know, White's playing like me. He's up a piece. Nothing's happening. Still up a piece. Great. Knight H3 is a funny move. King F1 is a funny move. It's good to be up a piece. Bam! Knight takes H4. So White's been up a piece the whole game and nothing's happened. Just nothing's happening. So that's good. And now he sacks a piece because he's getting tired of being up a piece. All right. Still winning. Not the best technique, but fine. Yeah. Can't defend the H-pawn. Good. All right. Still winning. I wouldn't take with the king, but all right. Definitely would have taken with the bishop. Let me force the king back to g6. Yeah, I would definitely do that. That would be my plan. Plan's also good. Very nice. And then mate is unstoppable. Can't stop mate in one. I don't know. You won a piece because the guy hung a piece. You traded everything. You sacked a piece and was 2 pawns up. And I don't know. That's fine. I wouldn't have sacked the piece there, but it was completely winning. So basically, you played the same strength as your opponent, but he hung a piece and you won. This is usually the other way around with these ratings. And you'll be rated 2,000 if you play like this all the time, where you just play, okay, pretty good, not bad, and then you don't hang pieces and your opponent does. That's what I try to do. So White played exactly the way I would want my chess students to play. You didn't do too much. You didn't try too hard. You didn't do anything crazy. You didn't make any one-move blunders. So you won. That's exactly how I want you to play. Like, slow and steady wins the race. Okay? Very Mitch McConnell-esque. Yeah, very good game. Excellent game. I think you donated too, so you really played well. But you didn't do anything dumb. You just played like, okay, good. You played like a 2,000 player, and you didn't hang anything. He played like a 2,000 player, and he hung a piece. So, yeah, and again, in my opinion, which you don't have to share, you can just not agree with me, that's the worst kind of blunder when your opponent has no threat. Everybody's just like, la, 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 and then you... Let me give you an example. What's a tragedy? When I'm sitting in the chess center, which I am now, somebody loses control of their car and drives their car through the chess center and hits me. Okay? Although if they did now, I would be okay because they'd be going through a lot of walls. I don't think they could hit me. I don't think it could be even possible. But anyway, that happens. You drive through a 7-Eleven because you pushed the wrong. Or there's a lot of traffic and you're like looking at your phone and you walk into the street and get hit. All right. And you're like, what's Ben Feingold talking about again? Does he have dementia? I mean, I do, but that's not related to this story. In this position, you're not threatening anything. And if it was your move, you're not even better. It's like equal. Then your opponent's like, I have an idea. Why don't you take my bishop? It's like the guy's walking into the street. So when you lose a chess game and you make some kind of blunder, it could be your opponent attacked your queen and you didn't see it. Or your opponent's threatening nothing and you're like, oh, let's play queen here. And then you lose your queen. And that's what your opponent did. He's like, oh, here. Oh, my bishop, darn. When you move your pieces across the board or across the universe, depending on your musical taste, you got to be careful. Notice all the pieces I'm highlighting are protected. Some of them 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times? Some 2 or 3 times. And this is not protected. And it was protected here. And your pieces are the same. All of White's pieces are protected. All of them. So everybody's safe. Finally, not safe, and you can take it. It's not surprising. It's on the other side of the board. You have that pretty well protected. So that's the guy just walking into the street looking at his cell phone. Now, I will admit there was some really cool stuff on his cell phone. Okay, but I'm still... Which sandwich was more disgusting? Zoidberg's sandwich that he had for a very long time, or Homer's sandwich? It was the sub that he couldn't get through the house, and then he had to cut holes in the house, and then he was hiding it for over a month, and then he was crying and said he couldn't stay mad at it. So I think that sandwich is more disgusting. Yeah, go Zoidberg. I can't stay mad at you. Yeah. Anyway, very good. That's how you should beat somebody. That's the way to do it. You say you barely won, but I don't agree. I think you won very convincingly. And it wasn't the $35 saying that. I think you won convincingly. I surrendered a game where I had mate and won. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah. Rosen has more viewers than me. Rosen always has more viewers than me. That's the way it goes. Rosen insults his audience slightly less than me. And by slightly, I don't mean slightly. Crash through without sacking. Yeah, you didn't have to crash through. And also, you could have waited to crash through by sacking on g5 with your bishop at knight, by maneuvering around. Yeah. No, but sacrificing and crashing through was an easy win for you, and you did it and you won. Yeah, that was fine. I just tried to get you a 500 viewer raid, but no go. We were just talking about you, Fenbeingold. We were talking about your opinion of me giving queen odds to gawking rabble. As long as I never play anybody, we can argue about it forever. As soon as I play somebody, that's not good. Even if I play somebody, if I get 1 out of 10, I'll just say it was an outlier. If I get 5 out of 10, you'll say it was an outlier, so it doesn't matter. Neither one of us will ever admit defeat. But I think, in general, without playing, Eric Rosen agreed with me, I think. You agree with that. He agreed with me, right? Now, I got to tell you a funny story. When I was, 15 or 16, I don't know. I was, 2,300 maybe. So that's probably 15. There were, these chess hustlers at the tournament, and I knew them. We all knew each other. And then, they're like 1,900 maybe 2,000, maybe. And I was playing 5 minutes to 1. And there was a huge crowd. And my mom opined, it reminded her of the Hustler when Jackie Gleason and Paul Newman play for the first time and people start to gather around, that when we agreed to play for money and we went to sit down, like everybody started gathering around. She reminded her of that. Okay. I won every game. We were playing, for small stakes, obviously, because I was 15. Like $1 or $2 a game, I don't know. Maybe $5 a game. Doesn't matter. Okay, but anyway, everything I just said is irrelevant. Here comes the good part of the story. I played a French defense, and it was move 7 or 8, and he blundered. So I was winning like either a piece or a pawn or 2 pawns. I don't know. So I was doing something good for me. And one of the guys watching said, "Man, he give you 5-1 and a queen and still win every game." And everybody laughed, including me. And my opponent did not like that comment. He did not like that comment. Man, that guy was mad. Man, the truth hurts. Because he is like 1,900, 2,000. He doesn't want to hear that some random guy can give 5-1 and a queen. He give you 5-1 and a queen and still win every game. God damn. Harsh. All right. That's right, 1.7 million now. Man, that guy was mad. He took it and threw it to the ground. That was before he threw it to the ground. Man, harsh. Pre-vegetarian? Probably. Man. Truth hurts. My greatest playing for money story, other than the one in St. Louis, which that's the greatest story ever told. That doesn't even count as playing chess for money. That just counts as the greatest story ever told. So I won't even talk about that. But I was in Foxwoods, and I had a backer, and he had a friend who was backing somebody else. And the friend was like 1,900, and the guy he was backing was 2,100. And they were underrated. They were like chess hustlers. And my friend was like 1,900, but he was bankrolling me. And I was, I'm me. And they wanted to play for real money, right? This is no dollar a game. This is like $50, $100 a game. And we agreed we would play 30-second chess. So we set a digital clock for 30 seconds each. And I spot him a rook. Or was it a queen? Had to be a queen. Yeah, queen. Yeah, it couldn't be a rook. Yeah, it was a queen. The rook was later. But anyway, and then we were playing for 50 a game. So the first game on move 6, our backers, his backer looked at my backer and said, "This is the last game." So now for me this is embarrassing. I played my best, which obviously when you're playing for money you shouldn't do. You should play as badly as you can and still win. Obviously I know that, but no, wasn't used to playing for $50 a game. So basically if I was playing God, probably would have been a draw. Even though I was spotting him a queen. Yeah. Yeah, I used to be really fast. I mean, really fast. God damn. This is in a real board, not on the internet. So we played like 45 moves in the 30-second game. He lost on time, and I had more time than I started with. I don't know. I think I had 22 seconds left. I think I used 8 seconds for 45 moves. So then we had to renegotiate. And eventually I was playing both of them. And I was spotting them a queen, I was spotting them a rook, and a blindfold, and playing with my left hand. I took my shoe off, and I had to make sure Giuliani wasn't anywhere near my pants. And I ended up winning 900. And I think I got half of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the last game. I moved 5. That was funny. That wasn't as good as the St. Louis story, but that story's too good to tell. It's too good. Man, I used to be good at 30-second chess on a real board. God damn. I mean, it's possible at that point in time, I was the greatest 30-second chess player who ever lived. Possible. Probably not, but possible. Possible. Probably not. Close. Man, now I'm old and I can't move. Man, when I was young and I still couldn't move, I was fast. Yeah. Those were the days. Pam gave 5 subs. Go Pam. You're the best. Yeah, God better have had a gun when I was playing 30 seconds. God damn. Yeah. Better have a big gun too. I don't think Anand would disagree about 30 seconds. No, in 1 minute, I think anybody could beat me, but not in 30 seconds. 30 seconds, I play 100 moves, and they're all perfect. That's pretty good. Now, I play like 10 moves, and they're all hang my queen. Damn, things change. I'm just reminiscing how I used to be good at blitz chess, and now I can't do anything. I mouse slip every move, I lose on time, I hang a queen every move. The thing says I made 12 blunders. Damn. Life comes at you fast. Man, harsh. All right, well. Right, but I'm talking about on a real board, not on the internet. On a real board. On the internet, I'm slow. But on a real board, I'm not. Slow now. 1999. In St. Louis, I was not intoxicated. In fact, I hadn't had any alcohol. Other people did. And the tournament was over. It was the Sinkfield Cup. This is about 5 years ago. It's either 4, 5, or 6 years ago. It's one of them. I'll just say it's 5 years ago because I don't know. 5 years ago sounds about right. It's about right. I'm close. Sinkfield Cup. Sinkfield Cup's over. So everybody's in the chess club. You know, all the super GMs, commentators. And I don't know how it started, but Alejandro Ramirez and I, we realized we had never played a chess game together. And we knew each other for years. We never played a blitz game, never played a bullet game, never got paired in a tournament. Never. Casual, outside, nothing. So we sit down to play, and before we start, there's other games going on with other grandmasters, and there's money changing hands, but generally not between the players. People are just betting on the games. So we're like, whoa, let's not start yet. Who wants to bet? So people start gathering around, and MVL, who's never seen me play, as far as I know, he said, I bet on Ben, which was weird. I mean, I guess somebody told him. I don't know. We're playing 1 minute. We decided to play 1 minute, me and Alejandro. So we said, okay, who wants to bet on Alejandro? There were a lot of people there. And then this cricket walked in just at that moment. Okay. Anyway, so nobody bet on Alejandro, and Alejandro's like, well, come on, somebody bet on me. And Alexander Grishuk, who just lost like $60,000. And what I mean is, he was playing in the Sinkfield Cup, and if he won the last round and he was winning, he would have won like $60,000 more than he did. But he was winning and he lost. I think it was to Magnus, but it might have been to somebody else. But he was winning and he lost. And that cost him, like, instead of like a tie for first, he came in like fourth or something. Anyway, so he just lost a lot of money in the last round. But he didn't care. He's Grishuk. So Grishuk says, oh, I bet on Alejandro. And then people started laughing. So everybody bet Grishuk. He bet like $50, $100 with like everybody, like separately. And I remember Aviv Friedman, the FIDE master, said, you ever seen Ben play 1 minute? And Grishuk said, no. And Aviv said, well, you're going to see it. So I won 5-0. We played first to win 5 games. I won them all. And during the 5th game, out of the corner of my eye, I could see Grishuk paying people. So, truth hurts. So then MVL said, can I play you? To me. And I was like, all right, I'll let you play me. And then there was the local yokel rapper, 1,200 player, 1,300 player. He's like, I bet on Ben. And I said, dude, you don't bet on me against MVL. He says, I'm going to lose to MVL. And he says, I've never seen you lose. I'm betting on you. And I said, well, I am going to lose because it's MVL, so you can't bet on me. And he said, I don't care. I'll bet $100 with anybody. And everybody. He bet $100 more than one person. And I'm like, well, I'm going to lose, so sorry. Okay. So first game, I destroyed MVL. I took all his pieces and made him and won on time. It was a mismatch, right? So I was feeling good at this point. Like, everybody's watching. All the GMs are watching. I beat Alejandro 5-0. I beat MVL like he couldn't play. I'm feeling pretty good about myself because, I'm nobody. Then the truth hurt. Then MVL won the next 4 games. Okay, so he's up 4-1. Okay, now the story gets interesting. Game 6, the game ends. I'm losing the whole game. I win on time, and I had 1 second left. So the crowd goes wild. Now I'm down 4-2. 4-2 it is. The next game, the exact same thing happened. I'm completely lost. I won on time, and I had 1 second left. And then people started screaming, and then, who's that? Lawrence Trent said, you must be one of the top 10 1-minute players in the world. And I was like, all right. And then the next game, I got crushed. So I lost 5-3. But that was exciting for me to beat MVL easily, then win 2 games on time with 1 second left, and everybody's watching, and Magnus is asking me for my autograph while I'm playing MVL. So that was fun. Some of that I might have imagined. Yeah, now I have to look at this game, and a guy plays Bishop B4, and then White takes it. That's what's happening now. Anyway, that was fun, with all the super GMs watching. Then they finally knew who the worst commentator ever was. Me. Man, I used to be good at 1 minute until I wasn't. When Nakamura won the U.S. championship for the first time in San Diego, he was 17. And I think this is the one in La Jolla. The other one was in downtown San Diego. And he's like, hey, I hear you're really good at 1 minute. Let's play and see what happens. And I was like, all right. And we played on a real board, and when the game ended, we would report on ICC what happened. People on ICC knew who we were. Not chess.com, ICC, it's a long time ago. And we're like, Ben's up 1-0, it's tied 1-1. Anyway, I won 9.5, 8.5 against Naka. When he became the U.S. champions, he was pretty good. He wasn't top 10 in the world or top 20 in the world, but he was good. Then Naka said correctly, he says, yeah, I think if we play again, I'm going to win. He felt like he was better than me, but I tried harder than him the first time. Then we played again like the next day. Ugh. I got like 0 out of 1,000. If I had to actually guess the score, I would say 30-5. If I had to guess the score, I just got crushed. But the first time we played, the day before, I did well. Those were the days. Now knight takes b4, and then queen d7, and then queen e6, and then rook e7, and now this is what I do. Yeah, and then here, and then black says mate, and white doesn't see this and says okay. That's what I do now. Man, the truth hurts. All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. I'm not sure what I was doing. Am I supposed to look at anybody's game now trying to learn, or am I supposed to go in order? Yeah. Man, he said if we play again, I'm going to win. God damn, he was right. Man, did he win. And then some. A nun stayed at my apartment before you guys were born in Brussels in 88. And we played 5-minute. And the first session was 9-9. And he was mad. He wasn't trying very hard, and I was trying very hard. And then we played another session, I think the next day, and it was something like 20-0. I got 0. I think he won about 20 games. I remember I got 0. I don't know if he got 20, but he got about 20. Man, my second session is never as good as my first. Damn, harsh. Karen wants to see, is that game there? Is the Cy Bradbury game with Pam, is that in Discord? Or am I going to look around for it and it won't be there? Jesper Lund Thompson subscribed. Yay. Who was 20? What? Man, there's the game. Cy Bradbury. All right. I'm not supposed to copy it from there. I'll get in trouble, but all right. I'll make a random guess that Cy Bradbury was white. Got to guess something. Cy Pam. Is that right? Did I do it right? And Pam gave 5 subs. So, man, Cy Bradbury pasted it twice. Did you ever cyclocross in Belgium? Every day. Who was my opponent? What? Anand was the second opponent. Kasparov would have stabbed me. No. No what? Pam was white? Oh, okay. Sorry. I have to reverse my metaphors here. Pam. Cy. You know what Cy said after he lost to Pam? The answer was Cy. I think I was white. That is correct. It wasn't at a hotel. It was at my apartment. That was Anand. How big is the queue? 40, 50 games at least. At least. Psych. There's no P in psych? Come on, Raj. So my understanding of the debate tonight is that, and I'm sure this is going to happen. I can't believe it won't happen. That would shock me. Assuming the debate does happen, is that even though Trump's microphone will be muted when they're talking to Biden, he can just talk anyway, and you won't hear it at home, but Biden will hear it. Like, they'll be standing like 20 feet from each other, 10 feet or whatever. So that's still going to be like weird. And then Biden's going to tell him to be quiet, and we won't even hear what Trump said. So that's going to be strange. I think he's just going to talk anyway with the microphone off, and so Biden can hear him. And then if the moderator tells Trump to be quiet, people won't know why because they can't hear him on TV. So I think that's going to happen. Well, I don't think he can walk closer. They got the plexiglass there. He'll probably fall and get hurt. Yeah. They all go on YouTube unless they don't. Right. Like yesterday's I deleted. So, yeah. Put them in a cube. That's right. Yeah, they're doing a real life debate tonight in Nashville. That's correct. 100 centidues. That's right. Shot collars. That would be good. That's right. They can't figure out who to vote for, but after tonight's debate, then they'll know who to vote for. Finally. God. Do I think Georgia will be blue this year? I mean, a lot of people are voting, so I guess so. I mean, it's going to be like 51-49. I mean, the governor of Georgia doesn't like when people vote. He's against it. He doesn't like it. That's the one thing the Georgia governor and Trump are like, that, son, they hate when people vote. They hate it. But they don't agree on who the senator should be. Because the Georgia governor picked Loeffler and Trump wants Collins. But they agree nobody should vote. They agreed on that. And they also agree you should drive around in your pickup truck with a rifle and round up aliens. I don't really understand that one in Georgia, but yeah. Except for one thing. That's right. That's right, Fen Beingle. That's correct. Yeah. Go Georgia. Yeah. Okay, go Pam, but stay there. Okay, good. Every move is great. Okay, Philidor. Now, Pam, you don't want to play d5 because that blocks your bishop. Your bishop is the greatest bishop ever, so don't go here and block it. If your bishop was here, then that would be fine. But you're making your bishop not as good. So also, you've already moved these people, if you can call them people. So you want to move your other people. So knight f3 would be the best move. Transposing into normal Philidor. Okay, these moves are good. I like all these moves. G5, god damn. I'm not a big fan of G5 because it's G5. Now it's hard to find a safe place for your king. I like taking in the center, opening up the bishop, opening up the queen, and opening the center when black is playing on the flank. So I like what Pam did there. I like queen e2. You don't want to play G3. Since you play queen e2, Pam, you want to castle queenside. Then your rook gets to this open line. And then you can start doing stuff. G3 is just a wasted pawn move. H3 I like. H4 I like. Rook takes I like. Good game, Pam. Good job. Rook back I like. Now this pawn is hanging if you want. You castle, which is probably even better. Pam, you're playing great this game. Go Pam. Not a big fan of H5. But... Ooh, knight A4. You don't do that. Okay, so your knight's defending your pawn, and his knight's attacking your pawn. And also your knight's bad on A4. You don't really have any good squares. Your knight's good on C3. So, yeah, knight A4 is bad. Now your opponent can take on E4, which he did not do. Bishop G5 I like. Rook takes I like. Bishop takes is good. Okay, in this position, you have to take this pawn back. It's just a pawn and take it, and then you're better. This is bad because this pawn is, that's a pawn. Now after G2, you're in trouble. I mean, that's a pass pawn in the 7th rank. God damn. So that's a very poor move because of G2. Your opponent made a very poor move here because the defense to the threat is to take the pawn back. It all works out. It's like you had it all figured out. Now the engine says this position's equal, but you should have taken the pawn in the previous move, and black should have played G2. Okay, check is good. Always play king b1. That's why Pam won. Queen h2 is the best move. Attacking the bishop and breaking the pin. Yeah, you got to keep your bishops. Bishops are good. So bishop g7, Sai. 2 bishops. This knight is shallow and pedantic. So you had nowhere good to go. Good. Queen g5. Threatening checkmate. God damn. And Pam saw it. Now Pam could throw in this check and then play a3, but she saw the mate, so that's good. Rook b8. Queen f2 is good. Rook b7. So neither one of you realize there's a lot of firepower on f7 here. So you can just take on f7. And black can never check and play mate because Pam's knight defends the mate. Pam saw that many moves ahead and played knight a4. Bauer and Salad subscribe. Thank you. These moves are good. Okay, Sai, your king is here. So you don't play d5. You're opening up this diagonal to your king, and you're giving away the c5 square to the knight, and you're opening the center where your king is. So you definitely don't want to play d5. Queen e3 trading queens, if possible, would be good because your king is in the center. Okay, knight c5 is not a good move. Queen c5 check is crushing. It's winning immediately. Because if king goes to king goes to f6, you win the rook. If the king goes to e6, you got well, this move wins and everything wins. This one's the easiest, I guess. All right. Knight c5 is actually bad because of queen c1 check or queen e3. And now black's okay again. d4 is very bad because it gives away the c4 square. So when the pawn was here, you stopped knight c5 and queen c5. When the pawn was here, you stopped bishop c4. Now bishop c4 is annoying. White's pieces found some really excellent squares in your position. By the way, if you play here threatening this, if black plays the obvious queen f6, then rook e8 check is a really nice tactic. The king has to move away from the queen. But this is a really annoying threat. So the engine says it's winning for white. 300 senzadues. Yay, a few sigs. Good job. Knight b7, confusing the audience. Not a bad move. King a2, best. Never play f6, Sai. That's why you lost the game. Never play f6. Rook g8 is fine. And now rook g7 is mate. So that's bishop e3 is the final blunder. You had to play knight f8. The bishop is defending g7, but you move the bishop away. Now Pam played a great move. Most people just move their queen away because their queen's attacked. But Pam found this Zwischenzug, threatening the rook, threatening the king, and the queen's going to go to f6. You didn't want the queen to go to f6, so you played here, and now Pam has queen f5 mate and bishop c4 mate. And so Pam won. When you played d5, d4, when you did that with black, you opened up your king. Your king was open here, open here, open. So this pawn needed to be back here for safety. Conversely, Pam's king is very safe. That was the best game Pam ever played. Good job, Pam. Never seen Seinfeld. It's good if your pant size is 32. I don't want to be a 32. I'll be a 31. Of course they think you're gay, Jerry. Why? Well, you live alone, single, neat, white male. And then Jerry says, so are you. And then Kramer goes, and then walks out confused. So there you go. Man, he got Kramer good. I think Kramer's neat, but yay, go Pam. No, Pam played well that game. She look at these pieces. They're all doing their job. Yeah, Pam played a lot of best move that game. Now, in my professional opinion, if I do a report on that game, Pam played in the high 80s. Very high 80s. Black did not. That would be my guess, is Pam played in the high 80s. Like she usually does, except for one thing. Cy Bradbury gifted a checkmate and gifted 5 subs. Tisker Tasker, 100 centidues. Yeah, Pam played really well that game. Yeah. Yeah, I think Pam played about 88.8. That's my guess. Gotta guess something. 97%, 99%. 88.8 is my guess. Pam played 58.9. I was close. And Cy played 31.6. All right, but Pam played 13 best moves and 8 excellent moves. That's a lot. So good game, good job. Probably I'm right and the engine's wrong. Am I doing any arenas today? No. What's an arena? 100 centidues. I thought we were going to take a steam. That's right. See, it's Salman Rushdie. Sal Bass. You see? It's not... It's salmon, you idiot, not salmon. That's not a fish. A salmon is a fish. You're missing the bigger picture. What do you do for a living? I'm a writer. By the way, what's funny about that, if you guys ever want to put 2 and 2 together, Larry David made Seinfeld and also made Curb Your Enthusiasm. And on one of the episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, he had Salman Rushdie, played by Salman Rushdie. So there you go. I never thought I would see Salman Rushdie in a Larry David show after that, but the joke became reality. Steamed hams. Now you're making a Simpsons joke. What's going on here? Go, Karen. All right, that was the best game I've seen today. The sexiest checkmate you'll ever see were both 2100. That I'll ever see. Man, never thought of checkmates as sexy. All right, let's see. So, me versus him. Us and then 2100, 2100. Now, this could be Lee Chess 2100, so that means it's just illegal moves. But it could be chess.com. This is from Imp, so I guess he's a bridge player. 2100 Imp. And then we'll say that his opponent is, I don't know, match points, I guess. Or maybe we could say they're victory. No, we'll just say match points. All right, go Imp. Yeah, when Imp was a kid, he was pretty depressed. And the teacher said, anything is possible. And he said, impossible. So that's unfortunate. Let's see. Seinfeld, Curb, Karen, favorite white opening. Well, it's date night. So, oh, you're talking about chess. Then I don't know. Let's see. Mandelbaum. Kangaroo likes that. It's go time. You think you're better than me? R.I.P. Dad, son, you guys are all the same age. That's my boy. You think you're better than me? Look, for the record, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I think you're all better than me. That's right. Man, if only I had some Cubans. Yeah, Lloyd Bridges is the best. Agreed. Man, he was great in Airplane. Go Lloyd Bridges. Have I seen The Big Bang Theory? Unfortunately. You know how every television show is the same once you watch it a few episodes? Big Bang Theory perfected that. I've never seen a show that was like every other episode. I don't know how they did that. It must have been on purpose. That's the one good thing about The Big Bang Theory. If you've seen any episode, you've seen all of them. So that's good. All right. I'm gonna use the restroom, and I'm gonna get a tea, and I'll be back. Make sure you wear a mask. I'll leave my mask in charge. Yeah. Don't get sick while I'm gone. Go mask. One thing you guys can do is send Perrier. We're getting low on Perrier. And by low, I mean we haven't had any in days. Let's see, how did my mask do? There it is. Hooray. Talk amongst yourself, but don't talk. Where's all the donations? Damn. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Can you buy Perrier? I can buy Perrier anywhere. Why would I buy it when you guys can buy it? Ridiculous. Terrible. Big money, big money, big money, no whammy. Stop! $9.99. Can I skip the line? It was Karen playing on your account. What? Skip the line. Wait, I have to look at this game first. Then you'll skip the line, Raj. This guy said it's the prettiest mate I ever saw. So far, I like white. Two bishops, what else? I'm not a fan of the move a4, especially since b5 wasn't threatened. h5 is, that's not chess. Yeah, h5 is losing because you weaken the white squares too much and you weaken g5. h5 is really bad. Terrible. Also, the engine says it's the best move, but it's a terrible move. Rook a3 I like. Yeah, white's actually punishing h5. He's gonna punish it. Yeah. Yeah, now the engine says white's winning. Stupid engine. Knight h7. This is an excellent time for the thematic thrust e5, f5. And whenever it's date night, the first thing I think about is the thematic thrust. Wow, this must be my lucky day. I'll take the rapist for 200. Mr. Connery, that's therapist. Delicious. Then the knight goes to e4. The rook comes over here. Papa John's. And white's winning. That would have been a good time for that kind of, something. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Anything but that. All right. So king h1, he put it in h. a5 giving up the b5 square. I agree with knight b5. e5. f5. Yes, e5, f5. Great. Knight e4 is bad, and he should feel bad. g4 is totally insane move I would never consider. I mean, just move the queen to the diagonal and win. What's the problem? Just totally winning over here. And the rook's coming over here later. Yeah, and g6 is weak. This is weak. Yeah, queen c2, queen d3, they all win. Yeah. g4 is just a crazy move. Still good for white, but it's crazy. Okay, h4 is terrible because it lets white play queen c2 again. Rook f8 was forced to defend. g5 is terrible. Knight d6 is terrible. Bishop g4 is excellent. That move I like. I like bishop e6. I like that. I like rook h3. Now we're talking. These moves are good at defending. These pieces are good at defending the king, except for one thing. Bishop f6. Takes. Takes. Check. 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 Queen takes. Yeah, all right. Rook takes would be quicker, but it doesn't matter. All right, check. Pretty sure this is mate. Okay. And then mate. All right, so white could have made it in 2, then he could have made it in 1, but he made it later. Very poor game by black. He just let white run over him on the king side, and then it wasn't very accurate. So it was a fun game. It wasn't an accurate game. And that's more important that it's fun. But basically, white had the two bishops, what else? And then white had his chances of mating. Sexiest checkmate you'll ever see? No. Frankly, terrible. All right. And then Raj said he has a game, but I'll never find it. Oh, there it is. Now, what are you saying? You're saying, you're saying that she was playing unrated on my account. Okay. Hopefully it was unrated. Yeah. All right. And then we'll put Karen question mark? Maybe it was Karen. Okay, let's see. Yeah, GM Benjamin Feingold Karen. Let's see. Romantic finish. Fancy +6. Karen has like +6 against me. Okay, so you're white against Karen. French defense. Right. Grandmasters always play f4 here, and then they play knight f3, so their center doesn't fall apart. Once upon a time, Raj was falling in love. Now his center's falling apart. Nothing he can do. So knight f3, c5, already white's worse because he's can't play f4 and defend his center. Knight c5 probably isn't best. Developing the bishop is... But knight c5 is fine. Bishop e5 check I don't like. White doesn't want to trade the white bishops. White wants to keep his white bishop. Yeah, and Karen should be developing this knight and hammering this pawn. And here Karen should just take the pawn and she's up a pawn. h6 isn't good because it gives white a target to sacrifice against. Just taking the pawn either way gives black an extra pawn. That's why white wants to play f4 earlier. All right, and again, the pawn's hanging. Just take it. All right, obviously he sacked a piece at some point. There we go. Maybe not sound, but that's okay. Okay, this is right. Now Karen has this excellent knight e5 move, threatening knight takes f3 check. God damn. After knight e5, when white prevents knight f3 check, then she can defend with knight g6 and get a piece near her king. After taking, the engine says this is equal, but this looks really hard to defend for black. So probably white has some perpetual if two engines are playing. The engine wants to play rook fe8, then bishop f8, always play bishop f8. Karen played bishop f6, which looks reasonable, but it ends up losing the game. Knight h5 is correct. And yeah, the problem is white's going to play king h1 and rook g1. But yeah, you don't want to play h6 early with black because you give white some sacrifices, and you want to take on e5 earlier. Queen d8, king h1. King h1 is a really good move, Raj. You can also play f4, rook here, but king h1 is much quicker, of course. All right, and then this is over because the mating attack is too strong. But yeah, in this position, instead of h6, just take this pawn. And It's really hard in this position not to take the bishop, but knight e5 is better. And then after you stop this, then knight g6. And the engine says black is still doing well because white's pawn structure, frankly, is ridiculous. And then the last chance here is rook here and bishop f8. Bishop f8 gains a tempo attacking the queen. Kicks the queen out. Bishop f6 doesn't attack the queen, so that gives white time for king h1, rook g1. But yeah, in 5 minutes, it's really hard to defend those positions. Those sacrifices always work in blitz chess, whether the engine says so or not. Sometimes it works. Yeah. Yeah, in that game, Raj was the best player in his chair. Yeah, that's right. All right, so that was a fine game. It was fine. Let's see if anybody's texting me. Support you need. I don't need any support. Let's see. And then, let's see. Trying to learn is trying to talk me into something. There's a few improvements you can make on your website. Oh, yeah, let me see what's going on in the U.S. women's. Round 5. Okay. Talia lost. Boo. Ashritha won. Draw. Jennifer Yu beat Annie Wong. And draw. Round 6. Carissa beat Tatev. And all the other games are still going. Ooh, Talia's playing Irina. Let's see. What's going on here? Talia's very, very, very slightly better. And has more time. That would be the upset of the century. It's a slow century. All right, what are the standings? Everybody's in last place. Terrible. Anna Zatonsky's not having a good tournament. Yeah, she's getting a little long in the tooth. I first met Anna Zatonsky before you guys were born. Her and her husband moved to Bowling Green, Ohio. God damn. And I've actually passed Bowling Green, Ohio several times lately, visiting my family in Michigan, because you go past that. Her husband, I don't think it was her, it could have been her, was like doing something at the university there, Bowling Green State University or something. That's not far from Ann Arbor. It's only like an hour and a half, maybe even less. So she came to Ann Arbor once or twice. And then she divorced and married a higher rated player, and now she lives in Germany with her grandmaster husband. And that's, so there you go. Let's see. Where's my mouse? Okay, we have 1,858 subs. That's terrible. If somebody could donate 142 subs, I would appreciate it. I'll wait. I'll give you a minute to push all the buttons. Not too many people watching the stream today. Not too many. Terrible. Karen plays great. I wish I was as good as her. I agree. You can't afford 142 subs? Come on, they're delicious. Make sure some are vegan. Today is a bad day. I think 312 is a lot. You do? What about Hess and Chessbra and Rosen and Anna Kramling and STL Chess Club and Gotham Chess? They all have more. Naroditsky's not streaming, and he has more. Hikaru hasn't streamed in 12 hours, and he has more people on his channel. Come on. All right, Pam's got me covered. Blundering Bishop subscribed. Hooray. You're enjoying forgotten players and current events. Thank you. You spelled forgotten correctly and current wrong? Wow. I would think it'd be the other way around. Okay, let me get to the next game, especially since Moobot is showing commercials now to the non-people, non-subscribers. I'm reposting the game. What? Oh, I have to go back to the front. Okay. These are the rules. How to link your Twitch account to your Discord. Oh, that's too complicated. Seth Lichtenstein. Here's a 45-minute, 45 anchor game I played yesterday. I was white and won equal ending after losing the opening advantage. Okay, I don't know who his opponent was or what their ratings were. I don't know anything. All I know is what I read you. So we'll do Seth and then opponent. All right. 45-minute, 45-second increment. Bishop a6 I faced before. I used to play bishop f4. This was a favorite of Tony Miles. Bishop a6 is unusual, but I have faced it. But it's not a good move. Yeah, white's doing great here. Good job, Seth. I wouldn't play queen c2. I'd probably castle. c2 is all right. e4 is all right. e5 loses a pawn. And now you're up a pawn. Yay. Well, I wouldn't give up my bishop because it's a bishop. So I would go bishop g3. Then I have my bishop. Well, if he's not going to take it, I guess it doesn't matter. Rook a d1. Rook t3. Now you're just up a pawn. You have a good position. Okay, now you played where you traded everything. You definitely, this is a very poor strategical move. You definitely want to play knight d5 here, which you did do, but you traded here first. Yeah, just play knight d5 here. You're up a pawn and you're better. It's just great position for white. This is still very good for you, but you're trading a lot, so it's slightly less good. Now he has two bishops against two knights. That's not as good as what you had. All right, still winning because you're up a pawn and almost no compensation. Rook d6. g6. Wow. This would be really impressive if a super grandmaster did it in a tournament game. The idea is you can't stop the knights from coming in and just crushing you. So like the queen has nowhere to go. It has these three squares, but queen here's just losing a tempo. So like if you play queen e8 and I threaten mate, for example, and you stop mate, and then I go here, wow, I mean just, and the bishop's terrible, absolutely crushing. Yeah, that would have been really cool, but okay, that's not going to happen. And Rook d4, that's legal. Rook f4 is also legal. Yeah, you can't play bishop takes f3. So for some reason, in a lot of games that we analyze on the stream, a lot of you people give up bishops for knights for no particular reason. You're just like, yeah, I'll just take that. I mean, that bishop on b7, that's the greatest bishop ever. Like, why are you trading that for that knight? Look at that bishop. God damn. And you just played c5. You just got him back. Come on, Morty. We just got him back. I mean, you can't be shooting him in a standoff unless you read the thing that said it was a fake gun. What are you doing? Yeah, this is like, you know, Flanders and Homer in Vegas. You know, Mike Tyson said their behavior is unconscionable. Yeah, because now the knight's going to have free reign over here. Okay, so this is, you know, just to win his pawn back, but now this knight's dominating. Bam. Okay, better was here. Much better. So black just did to win a pawn, which is a reasonable reason, but giving the knight this square is too much. Okay, knight f6 isn't so good. Now the position's equal. Knight e3 is a very strange move. Your knight's great on f5. Let's move your rook somewhere. Bishop d4. a4. All right. Knight e3. All right. All right, so this looks like black's better here. Queen a1 doesn't make any sense. Ugh. I mean, the queen on b2 and the bishop on d4 is a really nice combo. So if I was black, I'd probably try to get my rook to the e file. I'm not sure why you can't play rook e8. Oh, you can. I was like, why is he playing rook e8? Then the engine said rook e8 after I said it. Because, you know, you want to go here. Yeah, you definitely don't want to trade queens. Yeah, now probably still a draw. I think I'd rather have white, though, because I have a rook and you don't. This rook is just better than this rook. Yeah, so this is really good. So in this position, since white wants to play rook e7, which looks like you can't stop it, you can. You can play king f8, and then you can't play rook here because I take the knight. So after here, now white's just better. White's rook is crushing. B5 is insane. What the hell is B5? Yeah, that's just crazy. All right. Rook E7 stopping counterplay. Very interesting. Very nice. Good technique. Yeah, I mean, black trading queens with queen A1 was bad, and he should feel bad. Then white wanted to play rook E7 and infiltrate, and black didn't stop him. And then black played B5 after rook E7. So black was equal, and it went downhill. White was winning before that, and white's position went downhill. So the technique wasn't good at the beginning, but basically white won that game twice. Welcome to my world. Happens to me all the time. Playing in a tournament, I'm obviously have a big advantage, and then I obviously give it all away with a dumb move, and then I have to win the game again. Psychologically, that's hard for a lot of people, but I do that so often that it's not for me. All the time, I'm playing somebody low rated than me, and I'm like, obviously +1 or so, big strategical advantage, and then I give it all away in a move or two. I'm like, oh, and now the game's just equal. Then I have to win the game again. I'm like, all right, this again. Horrible. Exactly, Zoidberg. Yeah, the Zoidberg, you're bad and you should feel bad is funny. You have to know the context, obviously, which Kangaroo does and most of you don't. Zoidberg was explaining that Fry was great. See, Fry thought he was great because of the worms, which is true. Then when the worms left and Fry thought he wasn't good anymore, Zoidberg said, no. That's not why you were great. It's because you're great. Then when he was terrible, he said, you're bad and you should feel bad. It's funny because he just gave him a pep talk. So that's why it's extra funny. Man, those worms were pretty good. I think the professor figured out he must have had a sandwich at a gas station. No. I learns the lessons I won't soon forgets. What a great episode. Yeah. Every game I win against Man-Moth, right. That's right. He did have the devil's hands. So there's more than one episode where he's playing. In one of them, yeah, the reason he gets to play in concert is he has the devil's hands, but then he has to give the hands back. Not sure why. The devil tricked him or something. That's what it was. That's right. The playing wasn't with your hands, it was with your heart. Yeah, that was the devil's hands one. Robot Devil's a great character. See, what we need to do it, is have a stream where all we talk about are Futurama side characters. That's all we do. So like Roberto, Calculon, Judge Whitey, the Robot Devil, let's see. I said Calculon, right? There's so many good side characters. Oh, Zap Brannigan, Kiff, right? Hedonism Bot, Richard Nixon, right? The whole stream should just be the side characters and ranking them because they're all great. Judge Whitey has a lot of good one-liners. My chauffeur's caddy says a bank account is where a poor person puts his money improperly invested, which leads us to the most heinous of crimes, theft of money. I like the way my chauffeur's caddy. Then he says, well, I have a ham sandwich waiting at my mansion, so I have to go now. Oh, man, you got him good there. Yeah. Yeah, Clamps is good, obviously. The Robot Devil. Yeah. The Hyper Chicken. The side characters are all the best. Yeah. I mean, the main character is obviously Zoidberg's the best. Like Fry and Leela and the Professor and Zoidberg and Bender. Bender's the best. But the side characters, that's unclear. That we'll never know. Joey Mousepad. Robot Santa. Santa's good. No, I mean there's a lot of side characters that show up in several episodes. Yeah. So many good side characters. Yeah. There's also the preacher, the robot preacher. He's not a great character, but he's good. But he's good. Yeah. Mom's a great character. Mom might be the best. Maybe. Man, maybe. Mom could be the best. And Mom's best line, there's no question about it. If you don't agree this is Mom's best line, you're banned. You're banned from my stream. And your children's children. Is Mom takes off her mom's suit and she's like drinking and smoking and slapping them around. And then she's done with that. And she puts her suit back on and she says, now it's time to go to some charity BS for teenage knocked up sluts. That's the best line in all of Futurama. Mom's the best. Go Mom. Oh my God. Man, Mom got them good. Nibbler's good. Yeah, that's true. Go Mom. Professor telling his hippie doppelganger to get a job. I remember that. That's right. When there's two universes. Time to go to some charity BS for teenage knocked up sluts. Man, who wrote that line? That was a genius. Poplars are good. Oh yeah, Lur's a good side character. I like Lur. Yeah. So many good side characters. It's hard to know which is best, but Mom's right up there. Yeah. I mean, Zap Brannigan, Mom, Calculon, the Robot Devil. Those are some good side characters right there. Yeah. Exactly. All right, what was I doing? Oh yeah, and then white one. Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Good game, Seth. All right, 45-45 in the year 25-25-25. This was my first tournament ever. June 2019. I played 13-11 FIDE. I was black, I lost. 90-30 from XYZ Barus. All right. So we got 13-11 FIDE versus XYZ Barus. All right. Your first rated game ever. Ever? Is in Borussia Dortmund. Is that? I don't know. Yeah. Football club. What? I played for Dortmund. You can't trick me like that. I'm the Dortmundist. Yeah, God was a good character. He's a fan. That's right. Zap Brannigan, he knew what to do. All right. Also, what's her name's a good side character. What's her name? The old woman who has a lot of cats and things are in her purse. She's in a lot of episodes. She has stock in the company. She's like the crazy cat lady, but I'm not sure if she has an actual name. Only everybody who watches the stream will know better than I do. Does she have a name? Or is she the crazy cat lady? I played for Dortmund. Leela? No. As Naga's supposed to be playing Obama. Yeah. Any minute they'll be playing. Muriel's her name? She has a name? Wow. She's in a lot of episodes. All right. G6, C3. Knight C6 isn't really a good response to C3 because then your knight can get harassed. So D5 is what is the bishop G7. Those are the moves. Bishop C4 is a little unusual. All right, this game is pretty good so far. First game ever. Not a big fan of the Queen C7 or Bishop D7. Those are a bit passive. B5 is good. Bishop D5 is very weird. All right, he agreed it was weird and moves bishop back to B3. Okay. I like the thinking that both players had. Black was thinking, if I take and he takes attacking my knight moves and I lose this pawn. So he defended his pawn, and white went, aw, and then moved his bishop back. That's cute. Okay, rook A, D8, knight H2. Didn't see that coming. F4, A4. All right, so black's better so far. A3 is a hard move to play in your first tournament, but you got to soften him up here. Destroy his pawn structure. And then if he takes it, you can play Queen A5 and get your pawn back, and your bishop's going to be good, and his pawn structure is bad. And he should feel bad. Probably has some Yetiism in him. A3 is good. D5 is legal. E5 is legal. Knight H5 is good. Queen F3 is good. Now, wait a minute. In this position, after G4, I thought you could play here, but you have to play F6. This seems like G4 is a serious threat now, but maybe it's not. See, that move doesn't make any sense because G4 might win. Who am I to decide? But obviously this pawn's just attacked. So something has to be done about this. Either defend the pawn, counterattack the bishop on G5, something. This doesn't really deal with anything that's going on in the position. I think black wanted to play B4. Could have just played B4 then. And he was not concerned about what else was going on. Bam! Now he played this super complicated and blunder Knight D4. God damn. That's why he played Queen A5. Confusing the audience. Wow. I mean, the engine just takes it. He didn't take it. And after this, rook F2. I mean, white's just winning here. This is the bishop's hanging, the pawn's hanging, the queen's hanging. All right, white's up a pawn. Okay, he played bishop D1, which is also good. Don't understand that move. Oh, the bishop's attacked and the knight's attacked. All right, I guess there's nothing to understand. Knight E4 is really bad. That's an incredible blunder. Queen takes wins and G4 wins. For some reason, pawn takes doesn't win because this is hanging. Okay. This actually looks like a really natural move, but after knight E6, black is completely fine here. Black defended everything. Black's going to play rook A to D8, attacking the queen. Normal position. Taking is okay also. Taking is good. Knight E6 is good. G4 is a blunder. That's the kind of blunder I would play. Problem with G4 is after knight G3, attacking the rook, normally this would trap the knight, but we can attack the queen, and the queen's defending E4. And here actually the engine says black is winning. Because once I take on E4, I mean, this is just falling apart. This here. So what white didn't work here. G4 is actually a blunder. Black made a bigger blunder by taking this. And now after FG, not only is the knight threatened, but we've opened up the file for the queen and rook. So now white's better. So after knight G3, black is winning, and then rook D8. And after this, white's better. And that's just a tactical blunder. I don't think that black saw this. I think the reason is this wasn't attacked. And after here, he opened up the queen. And after here, he opened up the rook, and he didn't notice that. See, when white just recaptured on g5, he didn't notice that white was threatening f7. It's his first tournament. If this was the position and white played rook f1, he would have noticed it. But white played f takes g5, so he didn't notice the pawn was attacked. So in this position, he's got to save something. He could play e6 and save f7, or play knight g3 and save his knight and give up f7. That's the best move. And he just played here, losing everything. Takes and takes. I'm sure when he played rook d8, he didn't see queen takes f7 check. You have to see checks and captures. And with the rook on f1 was there the whole time, but the f-file wasn't open, and then the f-file was open. I mean, war wasn't declared. What's that, Siren? Oh, war were declared. So, all right. Yeah, and white's up a lot of material here. Okay, he resigned because takes. Could have played for stalemate. All right. So actually, black played an excellent game, and then his huge blunder was in this position. His knight was hanging. His f-pawn was hanging. He didn't see his f-pawn was hanging. That's because white just opened the f-file, and black didn't notice that change in the position. Otherwise, the game was pretty good. That's like how I played after like 6 years of chess. That was his first tournament. Okay. Basic practice, continuing the gift sub they got from Cy Bradbury. Good. Also, don't forget to start a train. Some of you guys forgot that. Yeah, Hans Mollman is the guy who dies a lot. That's right. It's a beige alert. Yeah. Tell my wife hello. I use that line a lot. Sent me a trophy. Yay. Yay, 100 centitudes. Let's start a train. Is it a whiskey bottle? It's unsweet iced tea. So close. It's almost a whiskey bottle, except for one thing. All right, I've been streaming for 3 hours. No sign of Karen. Waiting for Karen and Godot. Pawn Massour sent a game that he played against Eric Rosen. 1,700 for Pawn Massour. Rosen's 2,571. 180 plus 2. Sounds like, is that 3 minutes? Yeah. On chess.com. All right. We will lose to Rosen before it's time. Waiting for Godot? I don't know. Casual theater of the absurd reference. Exactly. Frankly. Have you lost weight? No, it's still there. Okay, so Pawn Massour is black. It's a 3-minute game. He didn't say anything about the game. So playing Eric Rosen. Let's say London, I guess. Yeah, when you're playing a high-rated player and you play a really sharp variation of an opening, you have to know it really well. Obviously, it's Eric's bread and butter. Hopefully vegan. You can play knight a3 or knight c3. I'm not super familiar. e5. All right. The engine just wants to play knight c4 here. But Eric took this, which is also good. Now black should take on b2. But he took this. This just seems like white has the 2 bishops. So I don't know. The engine wants to take this pawn. Makes sense. Eric's just developing. Yeah, black could play d5 here, because then if you take it, queen a5 check wins the bishop. So Eric's bishop c4 was a pretty bad move. I guess he was giving a blindfold simul or something. I mean, white's just up a pawn here and winning. Better king, too. Yeah, trading things usually just makes it easier. And white's up a pawn. Gives his pawn back. So rook e5 just blunders a pawn because he takes, and goes here. Yeah, he has to play rook check and rook here. But he didn't. This is a draw now with correct play. Now black's better, it says. Ooh, that pawn's defended. So obviously attacking this pawn, which gives me two passed pawns and wins the pawn with check, that would be the move. This move doesn't even make a lot of sense because the pawn's already defended. Black's actually better here if he just attacks this pawn. I absolutely guarantee that Rosen is playing blindfold or giving a simul. This isn't a normal 3-minute game because Eric's not playing well. Probably blindfold, it would be my guess. He doesn't say, it just says 180, but I mean, he's doing something funny. Eric Rose, I don't know what he's doing. It's weird to play a simul where it's 3-minute. So I just assume he's playing blindfolded. Yeah. He wasn't drunk. Eric doesn't drink. That move is a very strange move. All right, now white's winning. Rook e1's a strange move also. So, yeah, I mean, black played pretty well that game for 1700 especially, but it was very strange to play in this position. I mean, this pawn is indefensible, and if you take it, you have a passed h pawn. This pawn's already defended, so this move is really weird. And then eventually Eric played the correct plan, which was that. But yeah, I mean, just go take this pawn with check and then push that pawn. But there you go, Papa John's. The engine likes black. Yeah, it was a blindfold game. Wait, how does Pam know it was a blindfold game? What? Yeah, no, I mean, it looked like Eric was blindfold, yeah. Because Eric's play in the opening and middle game was weird. But endgame play wasn't great either, because in the endgame, when they started, they just have this position where white's up a pawn. And then Eric blundered a pawn with rook e5 because, you know, he's playing blindfold. So this just blunders a pawn. Then Eric could play rook check and rook here and save his pawn. So it doesn't really blunder a pawn, but he didn't see it because he can't see anything. He's blindfold. Yeah. $10 wouldn't go to the top of the list. Top of the list is $50. Made a joke so corny, I had to leave the stream for 20 minutes. God damn. What? That doesn't sound like Eric. Eric's the greatest person who ever lived, except maybe for John Bartholomew. And I think that's it. I think those are the only two. All right, let's see. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, only 900 games left in the queue. Yay. Yeah, somebody who sent a game in, can you donate $50 so I can look at it? I'm getting tired of this going in line and not getting $1,000. Also, we need to start a train, another train. Yes, if you donate $51, you go ahead of the guy who donated $50. See, it's sort of like when Amy bought a car, she thought it was an auction. That was for you, Kangaroo. No dog food for Victor tonight. Great episode. No, never play F3. Eric Bartholomew, that is correct. Cy Bradbury, 100 centidues. Hooray. We've been streaming for pi hours and minutes. Pi hours and minutes. 3 hours, 14 minutes. Pi. Cheesy driver, 100 centidues. Will one more 100 centidues do it? Or was I lying to you the whole time? John Bartholomew J. Simpson. I need to go to sleep. No, no going to sleep. Boo. The more you donate, the less you sleep because you're like, where's all my money? So you can't sleep. $52. Change the stream to presidential debate analysis. That would be at least $53. Yeah, like he says, I know when we're finger licked. That is a good line. Yeah. Rock. I'm sorry. I thought you were corn. Good line. Scruffy's gonna die the way he lived. Man, when everybody got their genders back, Scruffy was like in the bathroom. So when he came out, he was still a woman. Terrible. I feel witty, oh so witty. It's a pity how witty I feel. A committee should be organized to honor me. It's Mexi Cools. It's Pam. She got that West Side Story reference. Somebody had to get it. We're in a 12-piece bucket of trouble. Go Leonard Bernstein. That is correct. Wonder what Karen's doing. Dun, dun, dun. FDA approves COVID drug. Remdesivir approved, but it doesn't work. What? How should they approve Remdesivir? Oh well, they approve things that do nothing. Also, another drug that was approved by the FDA was the placebo drug. Ooh, that's good. Go placebo. Remdesivir is a cool name, even if it doesn't work. It's still a cool name. All right, time to read my emails. Payment is posted. That's good. Celebrate K-pop with my community. Do I have to? That was for you guys. To complain. Let's see. Somebody says they were banned accidentally. Let's see. I guess I'll forward that to Karen and trying to learn. Let's see. Karen. And then let's see. Trying to remember his email. All right. You guys can take care of that. He said he's the innocentest. Dun, 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 dun. Another message. Let's see. 4-player chess. Incorrect. New poll, Ossoff 48, Purdue 43. As a vegan, I have to vote against Purdue. No chicken. All right, those were good emails I read. Too good. Accidentally on purpose. He said he was innocent. He said he was banned, but he did nothing. He said you can read the chats and you'll see that I did nothing. So there you go. The Queen's Gambit thing on Netflix, never heard of it. Yeah. Okay, so I still have to look at games. Ugh. I mean, yay. Hooray for something. Let's see now. Potzerius. This is from the same event. My third OTB tournament many years ago. I was black, rated 1500. My opponent's rated 1757. 60 plus 30. I'm still not sure if King D6 was winning. Embarrassed to post this game, but not as embarrassed as Manmoth. I shouldn't have repeated. I've never been so embarrassed, except for every other game I've played. Okay. So this is 1757. And then Potzerius is 1516. Hopefully that's Karen or some friendly thief or something. It is Karen.
Yeah.
Ooh, she dressed up for date night. Yeah, it's Karen. $100 centidues from Cy Bradbury. Phoenix Prue subscribed. Are you streaming early tonight? I always stream at the same time, 3 to 7 on Thursday. But I'm early because I got here early because I didn't have my mask. What?
I'll get my other chair.
All right. Accepting repetition was shameful. The only thing shameful is there's no train. We need a train. I'm also dressed for date night. That's correct. It's pandemonium on date night. Yeah, unlike certain, Rudy Giuliani's, I am wearing pants. Yay, cheesy driver gave 100 centidues. It's a train. Karen is here. She's getting her chair, her streaming chair. Yay, a train just started.
Oh, yeah?
Like as you got your chair. Yeah. I'm tired. Been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes. And my nap was only like 4 hours long. So you want to go to karaoke so you can watch the debate on their TV? No, show them front and back. Come on, you can't just sit
No.
home. Yeah.
It's gonna...
Ooh, tickle.
No, I'm not getting on.
What? But I'm bigger than you. All right. Let's see
No, I
here.
mean, I thought if you didn't want to stay long, we should take 2 cars. It's not that I want to stay long, but I probably want to stay longer than you.
Yeah, but you stay too long and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really dangerous. You're there for 3 hours. I mean, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, those are COVID people. There's 2 kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's COVID people. There's non-COVID people. So let's take Eram, non-COVID. Will Ree, non-COVID. Wes Berger, COVID. Okay. Wes Berger's like, let's go get COVID. Yeah, I don't care.
Hey, kangaroo.
See?
Anybody could be.
Now, in that
COVID.
place, those are some COVID people, right? Like I gave them a mask for a present and they burned it, and then they hugged everybody and said, "Look at me burn it," terrible.
No, what do you mean by you've never liked the karaoke people? I consider those people to be my people.
Right. I understand that I don't like them and you do, but what I'm saying is, they're the kind of people, if you can call them that are like, yeah, COVID. They're like, yeah, whatever.
I know what you're saying.
That's they're like, yeah, it's made up.
Oh, thank you to be.
And what's funny is they all get COVID.
Well, a couple other people from there have gotten.
Yeah, and then they're like, it's made up, and I got it. I'm like, well, you got it, and you're not here anymore. What do you mean? All right, COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, those are my people. I guess I'm a COVID person.
No, you weren't. You just changed into one. You were like, we're never going out. We're only going to go outside. We're not going to go outside.
Yeah.
We're cleaning people. Nobody can come in our house. Nobody can call me on the phone. And now you're just like, eh.
Hey, I saw the end of the game, Pam. I had taken a phone call between you and Cy Bradbury, I think you mean. Yeah, that was a great game. Yeah, I was happy to see that. I noticed how you did that Schwischenzug move like a boss.
Kangaroo's like, what does that mean? Okay. So, now, yay, thanks for the 5 subs, EECCUC.
Hey, Jay Cheatham.
Yeah.
Well, we can decide about cake.
Yeah, probably I'll go for like.
Yeah.
And the new guidelines, it's 15 minutes for a day. So like if you're in a COVID area for 5 minutes, like 3 times, that's dangerous. Mm-hmm. They used to be, they thought it was consecutive. Now it's cute. Now they have 2 tie breaks. Yeah.
Darn.
Also, they change their mind every day.
They made it harder
Yeah.
to go anywhere.
100 centidues. I can only forgive you if you donate more.
I just said, hey, kangaroo.
Go kangaroo.
But I don't think I said anything further.
This guy's ashamed of
himself.
himself. This guy's ashamed of himself because he said I repeated when I should have played for the win. He said even if I wasn't winning, I should have. That's what he said.
Who, Pat Sirius?
Yeah. Yeah, I said, you can't be Pat serious. Yeah, and then he said, Jimmy Mack, when are you coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know, that joke didn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. So this isn't a joke, but it sounds like one. John McEnroe had a show on cable TV. I think it was CNBC, but it could have been MSNBC, but I think it was CNBC. But it was one of them. It was like a late night show, like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay, now, are you ready?
I'm
going to let you guess.
All right.
What were the ratings of the show? How many people watched the show? What was the number?
I wouldn't have any way to know that any.
Zero.
What?
The rating was 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they canceled it.
Oh.
It was on for weeks, and the rating was 0.
I mean, you can't be 0.
It was 0.
Round it down.
That was the rating was 0. Yeah, 0.0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100 cents to dues. Yay!
That was an older game, Pat Serious.
Yay!
I bet you're much better now then.
Like John McEnroe's a famous tennis player, and probably out of the 364 people watching, like one knew he had a television show. They're like, he had a television show? What do you mean? Like, yeah, he did. 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frankly, terrible. All right, so you're going to help analyze the game. He's 1,500, and his opponent's 1,700.
Okay, and he said that's a game from years ago.
What's the name of this opening?
Um,
See, he played here and then here. What's that called?
I don't play that. That's the Sicilian.
No, Sicilian is C5.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I'll give you a hint.
Con.
William Shatter would know. Con, right.
Yeah.
Now, when white moves his 2 knights out, what variation is that?
I don't know.
The 2 knights.
Oh,
why I
that's
said
it.
it was 2 knights out. Right. Okay, bishop
Give me a
G4 is correct. Now, most people play H3 here, and some people play bishop E2.
Yeah.
H3 is more common. Bishop E2 is newer. He took, which is unusual. D4. Yeah, and this is probably slightly better for black already. Okay. Queen D3 is a funny move. So you see in this position, the knight's pinned to the queen because I said so. So he played here. Now it's not.
Right.
And he wants to go here, attacking everything. And black just said, well, I'll take that then. All right. So we have a boring kind of position. I wouldn't play queen C7. Takes, bishop F4.
I'm guessing Pat Serious won this, or he wouldn't see
No,
it.
they drew.
Oh, they drew?
Yeah. This is a good position for black. I don't like B3. I like C5. Not a big fan of C4 because it's okay. Takes. Pawn takes. Really. Okay, now. I was going to make fun of black's next move, but the engine likes his next move.
Oh.
Okay. And I like the position too. But see this pawn here? So generally you would put a rook here and dangerous. And that is but he did take, which gives white these 2 isolated pawns. And then the bishop can go here, dangerous. It doesn't make a lot of sense for white to play rook E1, then the pawns go here and they get traded. And I'm like, why is the rook here? Why isn't it on one of these open files or defending the F pawn? It's not like the worst file. The worst. Okay, good. Queen F3 is good. Now in this position, this is a little complicated. Let's go hype train where it's 0%. Boo, boo.
Is that
Also,
the same
we
train?
need, what's that?
That's the same train from when I got here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought you've been here over an hour? Yeah.
Well, I just lost track of time. I didn't
Yeah.
realize they lasted so long.
Yeah. Yeah, Karen's not used to things lasting long on date night. Now, if it was white's move, that's a little fork in there, yeah? A little fork in the eye.
Yeah.
Okay. So black played rook D8 and said, haha, I pinned you. Now, white has a brilliant tactical move, which he played. That doesn't make any sense. Played queen F3, and if you take the knight, then I take the rook. So you can't take the knight. Now knight C6 is even stronger. Okay. So what black should have done because of that is played rook A D8. Then you can't play queen F3 attacking the rook because there is no rook. Now black has the advantage. Now white has the advantage because queen F3 is a nice trick. That's like a high level
Mm.
100 centimeters. Thanks, Cy
What was
Bradbury.
the time control of this?
Can somebody donate 5 subs, please, in the next 35 seconds? Thank you.
What was the time control?
Nobody knows,
Oh.
but if I click this, it'll know immediately. 60-minute, 30-second increment. This kind of thing like Queen F3, that's a high level kind of like why a good player wouldn't go there. And a bad player wouldn't go, oh, I didn't see that. And now you're walking in the sunshine, right? I don't mean to make waves. Anybody? You? Okay.
In Katrina.
Okay, 5 subs, 20 seconds, 4 subs. Get to level 4. Level 4 is good. Come on, Karen wants to get a taco. Anybody? 9 seconds.
What?
No. The train's going to end.
Oh.
Yay! Xanth13 did it with 1 second left. You're the smartest person who ever lived. Hooray! Xanth gave 5 subs. Cy Bradbury also gave 5 subs. It would have been too late. If Xanth hadn't done it, it would have been after the thing. We still get the money, though. So, see, whether our clients make money or lose money, we at Duke and Duke get the commissions. Understand?
Maybe.
Yeah, sounds like y'all a couple of bookies. I told you he'd understand. What movie?
Is it one of the 6?
I don't know. It's a movie I quote a lot. Yeah, say great movie. Whether our clients make money or lose money, Duke and Duke gets the commissions.
Sorry, I'm not
Do you understand?
gonna know it.
Trading
Saturn.
places. Yeah. We get the commissions. That's a good line. With orange juice features. Yeah. He
What about
he
the
explains the commodities that they trade, and he puts them on, they put them on a table, and he says, you know, like oranges. He says, and this is bacon, which you might find in a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. And then Eddie Murphy looks into the camera. It's like, what? Frozen concentrated orange juice and pork bellies. Red rum, 300 centidues. Yay! Red rum, he's killing it, right?
Yeah.
Red rum's killing it. Killing it. Red rum.
Mm-hmm.
You got that?
The Shining?
Yeah, but, no, but red rum.
What about
Killing it.
Yeah.
You know what red rum is. In reverse, what is it?
Murder.
Right, killing it.
Mm.
Killing it. All right, yeah. Also, he could be a crow.
A crow.
Yeah, what's a group of crows called?
Oh yeah, it is a murder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We were talking about that recently.
Duke and Duke, mayonnaise and mayonnaise. Yeah. Okay, so now Black's in trouble because here comes knight c6.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes trouble, mate. And then he stabs everybody like 50 times. Yeah. Rick and Morty.
Something happened.
That happened before, but it had to wait for the other stuff to happen to make the noise.
Oh.
It's a delayed noise. Also a flock of crows. What about a flock of seagulls? According to the flock of seagulls guy, where's the case?
Mm.
In the cupboard. No, not that one. The one by your knees. What movie? Pulp Fiction. You, flock of seagulls. Where's the case? Okay, he played queen h5, putting it in h. It's a long move, right? The best move is queen b7, but I don't mind him playing knight c6. That makes sense. Why can't I play knight c6? What's happening? My computer stopped working. Okay, queen takes queen. If he takes the bishop with check, king f8 wins the knight. But he did anyway. Knight g6, the nonsensical move. Okay, knight g6 is a technical mistake. It has to do with time over pawn structure. So sometimes it's your move, and sometimes it's your opponent's move. Let me show you.
Mm-hmm.
After we take the queen, and you take the knight, it's white's move.
Okay.
The way the game was played, he played knight check, and now it's black's move. Why did white do that? I don't know, white doubled his pawns. Okay, but now we have rook d4, which is a fork. We don't have rook d4 when it's not our move. So knight g6 check is a very bad mistake that white made. And that's actually what happened. Amazing. Yeah, and now black is technically winning, the best kind of winning. What TV show? Although I changed it. So I changed it, so it's hard to know.
Yeah,
He's correct, the best kind of correct. Kangaroo knows. That's a hint.
Yeah.
What's Kangaroo been watching lately?
Futurama?
Yeah. You are correct, the best kind of correct. Yeah, Futurama. Yeah. Hermes Conrad, you are technically correct, the best kind of correct. That was by the number one bureaucrat. And then at some point in the episode, Hermes tried to explain something to the bureaucrat, the number one bureaucrat. He says, He says, I was in the committee meeting to decide the color of the pages that book would have those regulations in. Don't tell me about those regulations. That's right. Okay. Also, requisition me a beat. Didn't see that coming. All right. So now black's up a pawn. Black, I'm sure, will have fantastic technique. I actually like taking that bishop because now we can get a pawn. We can get the a pawn with checking him. Hey, he did it too. Look at this. Look at this sequence. This is like a puzzle rush kind of thing, or a tactics trainer. You take the bishop, you check, you trade, you check, you take, and you defend your pawn. It's all forced. Yeah. Now, that might still be a draw, but that's still better for black. That's the best he could do.
Yeah.
Now, in this position, the reason this perpetual doesn't work is the king can go here. So this should be winning. 2 extra pawns. Okay, now, remember when I said this didn't work? Check, 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 because the king goes to f6? Well, he played king f4, e4. The king can't go to f6 because of mate.
Right.
So in this position, black should have been like, wait a minute, this is going to happen. What do I do about it? And black just ignored white. He's like, I don't care what white's doing. So this is a very difficult win, if it's a win. And now we got to really figure this out. And unfortunately, the engine wants to play f6, stopping all that nonsense. The other way to stop it is to play king g8 so you can hide here. You can't hide here, the guy's checking you forever. So a3 is a really bad move, okay, because now we just check forever. And unfortunately, black didn't even try to win. He just said, okay, draw it. Then he was mad about it. Problem is, if you try to win, you could get in trouble. The engine says trying to win is a good idea. It says black has this huge advantage. So this pawn's pretty far advanced. Black's 2 pawns up, so you got to try to win. Doesn't matter if it does win, you have to try. Doesn't even matter. And if you know my friend Giannis in California, when he was a intermediate beginning bridge player, okay, here's a discussion we had every night. You don't have to know how to play bridge to understand how silly this is. It's extra silly because he has a PhD in math. It's extra silly. He would have a hand, and he could play a finesse of a king. So he'd have the ace and the queen. He could play a card, and then play the queen, and hope that that guy had the king. If that guy had the king, he'd lose. If this guy had the king, he'd win. So it's 50-50. And he wouldn't do that. That's called playing a finesse. He would just play the ace, then he would play another card and lose to the king. And I was like, why'd you do that? And he said, well, if I play the other way and he has the king, then I would lose to the king. And I said, right. So if you play the way I'm suggesting, it's 50-50. He's like, right. Your way is 0%. You always lose to the king. And he's like, right. I said, so you play the other way. And he's like, why? Then he would say why at the end. I'm like, what do you mean why? I said, 50% one way, 0% the other way. 50% is more. And he's like, why? And he had math PhD, smartest guy I know. And that one thing, now he's better at bridge than I am, but I'm still mad. Like, you take the 0% way of playing instead of the 50-50. So if black wants to win and repeats and draws, 0% he'll win. Plays king d6, might win, might draw. Probably won't lose, he's still up a pawn or two. But he draws anyway, and then he's mad at himself. Right. So if you're like, I don't want to go here, I lose a pawn. I'm like, you're up 2 pawns. You have a pawn in the 6th rank. So you lose a pawn. But it's more important. What you did wrong, Potzerius, wasn't that you repeated here. That was what you did wrong. What else you did wrong was, when white does this, you were like, oh, that's the only thing white can do. So you should have been ready for that. And you should have figured that out here. If he goes check, 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 what do I do? The answer is this. Then when the answer wasn't that, you had to figure out something else to do. So if you were like, Magnus Carlsen, here you would be thinking about that. What do I do against this repetition? Then you would have it all set up in advance. Instead, You only thought about it as it was happening, and you were like, draw, the guy's higher rated than me. Frankly, terrible. Truth hurts. He's a mathematician. King to check. My analysis is this doesn't win, so do something else. That's my analysis. Okay, his analysis is rook takes, e5 check is correct, king g3, rook a1 is correct. Not sure if rook a7 is correct. Looks correct. And I can't figure out how to make progress. All right, now I'm going to yell at you more. Your analysis was, I have a position where I don't know how to win, so maybe it's a draw, or maybe I'll figure out how to win or he'll blunder and I'll win. There's a 0% chance I'll lose. You can't lose. It's not possible to lose with black here. You're up a pawn, you have a pawn in the 6th rank. And instead of doing that, you took a draw. It's like the Yana situation. I don't know if this works, so I'll just draw. When you don't know if you're winning or drawing, then you just keep playing and you figure it out. And then you can analyze the game later and see what happened. That's why you never take a draw. I would assume this is a win because if you ever play a2, the king has to go back here. Otherwise, you check and win. So that means white can't really do anything. So you can move your king up. You can move your king. You got stuff you can do. It might be a draw, but it might be a win. Should be a win because the king can go to f4. Maybe it's not a win. King c5, king g2, king b4. Okay, the engine method doesn't do anything. The engine method is dumb. Probably it's a draw with correct play. Terrible. But you should still play 80 moves and win. For example, let's say you play a2 and the guy goes here because he doesn't see rook check. Or let's say he sees rook check and goes here and doesn't see this. You see that trick? I've shown you that trick. Good trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could win because the guy could make a mistake. And it could be if you both play better than perfect, you're not winning. Possible. Anything's possible. In theory, communism works. So it's like the Monty Hall problem. That's right. The question is, when Monty Hall dies, which he did, he was like 96, should you still have let's make a deal or cancel it? That's the Monty Hall problem. Black can't try king a2. Oh, can't? Yeah, that's the other way to try to win. Now Spencer's method is risky. Spencer's like, put my king here, and then when he checks me, go here, and then I'll win eventually. Problem is, if you could get in trouble. Probably doesn't work, but you could try it. Yeah. You could try it, but if you lose these pawns, you could risk losing, sack the rook. It could happen. Yeah. Then if you lost, that would be good because you tried. So I like that. Yeah. Yeah, also don't forget to donate. Some of you forgot. Yeah. Go Karl Marx. That's right. He was one of the famous Marx brothers. Karl Marx.
Yeah.
How many Marx brothers can you name? The comedians? Any of them?
Groucho.
Correct.
Let me see. I'm not gonna know. It's not Marco, is it? Groucho and I can't remember the other one.
There's Zeppo.
Oh.
There's Chico.
Oh, I didn't know there was that many.
Oh, there's more. And then there's the guy. Wait, was Zeppo the love interest, or was that the guy who didn't talk? There's the guy who's like cute, and he's not funny. He's not funny at all.
I'm doing well to come up.
Right.
With
No, there's one guy who's like good-looking guy who's not funny.
Yeah.
Then there's the guy who doesn't talk. Then there's Chico, who not only was a very good piano player, very good, he was a good bridge player. Who's the Harpo? Harpo's the one I'm thinking of. Harpo's the one who didn't talk, but he played the harp. And one thing he did, which you'll find confusing, is in one episode, like Chico's playing the piano, because Chico's good at the piano, and then they destroyed the piano because it's a Marx Brothers movie, and the strings inside the piano, Harpo took them out and stood them up and played the harp. Doesn't technically make a lot of sense, but it's a movie.
Yeah.
So it's like a cartoon. Yeah. One of the greatest Marx Brothers lines, which I'm sure you know, is sort of like we had to sign the NDA, right? Groucho was required to, somebody had to sign a sanity clause to prove they were sane. And Groucho said there ain't no sanity clause.
No, what? Is this a real story?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a movie.
Oh, in the movie.
Yeah, there ain't no sanity clause. Yeah, so you couldn't.
That's
Right.
kind of silly.
Well, that's what they did. Yeah. Harpo has the biggest accent ever. That's right. You can't fool me. There ain't no sanity clause. That's right. You can't fool him. Yeah. Yeah, those guys were good. I was watching You Bet Your Life, and Groucho was the host. It was a game show. And they would ask really hard questions, and if you got them wrong, they would give you a consolation prize question. Then, there's a giveaway question. So the guy got it wrong. He says, okay, here's your consolation question. He says, what color is an orange? Okay. So the guy said orange. He says, you win. Then the other one, he says, why are there lines down the middle of the road? And the guy said, because somebody put them there. And Groucho said, your answer's better than mine, so you win. I had that ready. That was good. Somebody put them there. Exactly. There ain't no sanity clause. All right, last game because it's almost 4 hours and Karen's hungry, which doesn't make any sense. You're hungry?
I, not that hungry.
All right, let's vote in the chat. Who's hungrier? Karen, the hungriest she's ever been in her life, or me when I'm not hungry at all? Who's hungrier? All right. They throw up the sanity clause. No. All right, so we'll get rid of the Podzerias. Good game.
I get hungry.
Not sure if you were winning the final position. Probably not. I was rated 753, opponent 719. Who would be really mad at this game? Who? Man Moth.
Why?
If somebody sends me a game and it's like everybody hung a piece every move, Man Moth gets really mad. So like you got a Grandmaster here, you send him the worst game ever. Now they're both 700, so Man Moth's already starting to get mad. He assumes there's going to be some blunders in this game.
Well, when you're lower rated, you don't have judgment, and you don't have games that are that good. So
Right, and also,
That's
people,
what you
yeah, I'm not mad. Man Moth gets mad.
I know.
He's like, wow, you can't
Not
look at that
everybody.
game. That's the worst game. Yeah.
Not everybody.
753, 719. That's pretty accurate. 753, 719, and it's a 30-minute game. Bam. Hope I don't get the ratings reversed, or the game won't make any sense. I was white. Okay. Want a French defense? Good. Okay, now Man Moth's going to get mad if I keep looking at the game. Ready?
Yeah.
Bishop b4. That's not good. There's good and there's not good. If Bishop b4 was check, I would give a long explanation why you don't play Bishop b4 check, which I've done on the stream many times, but it's not even check. Okay, so after c3, black was PO'd, and he went back.
Yeah.
Now tell the audience what the number one move is according to the engine. What does that say?
I can't even see that. Bishop f8.
Always play Bishop f8.
Yeah. It's hard for me to see that from here.
But I like the way Bishop f8's the best move. You wouldn't expect that's the best move, right?
No.
Always play Bishop f8. Yeah. Okay, Bishop e7's fine. Still theory Bishop b4. Right, that is a joke. Yeah. You shouldn't delete the game just because they're low rated. All right, now the game makes sense, right? See, d4, c5. It's a normal advanced French, except black's played bishop here, so that's not good. Okay, CD, knight c6, castles. Then he played bishop b4 again.
Now I'm trying to read the chat.
And I think the reason he played it was, I don't know, he wanted to go here. But his bishop was there, so he couldn't go there. All right. Okay. I think I was right because he played there, so that means he must have wanted to go there. Bishop d2, that's not bad. Okay. Yeah, white's playing pretty well. Queen e1, that's what Karen would do. Not sure why he played queen e1. I don't know why.
I wouldn't go there.
Right, I know. All right, now I know why he went there because I see the rest of the game. So I know why he went there. All right, now if Man Moth, if you're watching, just walk away. Walk away. Don't look in the box. Walk away. Kevin Spacey has the upper hand. Get out of there. What movie? Brad Pitt, Looking in the Box, Kevin Spacey, Morgan Freeman.
Oh, is that The Usual Suspects?
No.
Oh.
Seven.
Oh, Seven.
Yeah.
I always get those titles mixed up. Yeah,
Right.
Seven. That's a horrible movie.
Now
It's hard to watch
now
it.
now you're gonna see why Man Moth gets mad after this next move. Ready?
Okay, let's see it.
That's why he played Queen E1. He wants to sack a knight, take with the queen, and mate on H7. That's why he played Queen E1. All right. So if you're watching, don't do that. Yeah, because when you threaten mate and the guy stops it, then you're down a knight. It's still better than a lot of sacrifices I see. Here, white has a great game because this bishop is quite bad. So you can attack without sacrificing a piece. Yeah, this plan has no downside. Well, he did win.
True.
G6, he didn't take the knight. See, he knew the sacrifice was good. He's like, I'm not taking that. The engine says taking it wins a piece.
Yeah.
Then after queen takes, G6, and that's it.
Right.
So no more. There's no more attack. Knight F6 check, that's good. See, he knew what he was doing. Knight takes here, wins the queen. Probably there's ways to do even better now. So this is the kind of thing we talk about on stream a lot, okay? And this is a good example of it. Player A makes a threat in player B's position. Player B sees it, which is already unusual, and does something about it, which allows threats C, D, E, and F, which heretofore didn't exist, right? And you're like, oh, I forgot about those other 5 things. This is a good example of that. Black obviously saw the rook was attacked, so black moved the rook, right? Mm-hmm. But that rook is necessary because knight f7's forking the king and queen. But, he did it, he's like, and then he's like, damn, hung my queen. Terrible. Okay, now, if Manmoth was here, we would have to agree with him that we can't look at this game anymore. Mm-hmm. You see how it's check? See? Mm-hmm. And then you take the knight. No, he played here. Ooh. Yeah, now Manmoth would be pretty mad. It's like, well, what's happening? So the only thing white did this game, which we would think would be sort of bad, was knight e4 sacking a piece, and then black didn't take it. So maybe he's better than us. Otherwise, I have no qualms with what white did. Black is making a lot of bad moves. Bishop b4, e7, b4, e7, b4, e7, not taking the knight on h7. He doesn't like taking knights. He doesn't like it. Then he took the knight. See, he forked the king and queen. Mm-hmm. Got to try. Trying is the first step to failure. And then black resigned. And here's why black resigned now instead of before. I don't think black saw bishop takes knight. So I think we played knight e2. He was like, yes, I won my queen back. Then he's like, oh my God. Like he was so upset.
I agree with you.
Yeah, he was like, oh my God, I'm winning. Aw. Because if he wins his queen back, then, he's up a piece.
Backwards bishop.
It's hard to see backwards. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's still theory. Let's see. Toilet Break Chest says, did you hear George Washington is now the president of these United States? Yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, white played knight e4, which was not a good sacrifice. Otherwise, white played great. This game, if you look at the game, it seems like white's about 1,000 points better than black, and their ratings are about the same. I mean, black not only made tactical errors, he's like moving his bishop back and forth. White was just developing his pieces. Yeah. Go Magnus, I guess. But he's number 2 and Carl's number 1. 5 centidues, thank you. Probably because you spelled analyzed, so they were hoping you would do that. That's why. Okay, you have to understand something. Every game I look at, there's a lot of mistakes. Some of the mistakes you guys find silly. I find your mistakes silly. Magnus finds my mistakes silly. Leela finds Magnus' mistakes silly. And Stockfish with the EEOC finds, right. Okay, and then the God thing in the God particle episode with Bender, he finds everything silly. Remember when God threw Bender back to Earth?
No.
Oh,
I
horrible.
don't watch that show.
Horrible. Yeah. Yeah. Everything is relative. I mean, that game's very instructive because I think Black resigned because he was like very happy now. And then he was really unhappy because he was like, oh, damn. Mm-hmm. The other possibility, which is not the case, it's not. They're going to think, oh, no, it's not. It's not. I'm afraid to tell them because they're going to think, oh, yeah, no. Is that he just hoped he would play here and he knew that, but he figured I'll give it a try. No. That's not what happened. What happened was he thought he was winning the queen now.
I agree with that.
And then he was like, aw. He wasn't like, I hope he doesn't take the knight. That's not what he was, just didn't see he could take the knight. That's what happened. If you think something else happened, you're wrong. And obviously you shouldn't resign, but White did not show he was 700. White just played well, except for the knight e4 idea, which ended up working out really well. So who am I to, Yeah, and Tigran says Stockfish just moves are mistakes. Yeah. Can I create a tournament? I can create anything, but your spelling of tournament was suspicious. Yeah. All right, who are we going to raid, Rufus or Doofus? There's two possibilities. This one and this one.
Oh, yeah.
This one has some weird writing next to it. See this? This has weird writing here. I don't know what that is. Then we could do this. How about this? Let's do that. Maybe not. Maybe you don't like doing that.
Well, why is this doing this strange?
Cooking stream. What do you think? There's a cooking stream I can raid.
Cooking stream?
It says cooking stream.
Oh.
Wow.
See you. No, I mean, I think you should raid.
There, or there. Those are my three choices.
Any of them. Any of them are fine.
This is the one I want to raid.
All right, go ahead.
Because I've never raided whoever that is.
I
Also, they're probably off the
I've
air.
only raided her once.
You gave it away by saying her.
Oh.
Good trick, though. I think it's chess
They
Brock.
won't know.
That's correct. I don't. They could also sometimes those people aren't raiding. They're not streaming when I raid them.
Yeah, no, this is a good raid. This is a good raid. I agree.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I've raided this person before.
Person. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Theoretically 8 to 11. Practically nobody knows. And also,